what other way would we like to start races here at good old Thunder Hill Speedway? And it's great to have Jesse Glenz out there carrying the beautiful stars and stripes. So thanks to him not only for carrying that around the track there, but also for coming out for tonight's Alumni Night. As I've been saying, we have a lot of great racing action planned for you folks this evening, and we are excited to have everything starting off strong here for the night. This being said, we do have a lot of races coming up here this evening. We have all of our normal classes making it out tonight, but we have our rookie cage class starting things off strong. Arbox class, we're going to have 3 heats tonight. Junior wing, we also have 3 heats going on. Intermediate wing class is going to bring out one race for you, one heat race in Sportsman, 2 heat races in the 125-250 wing class, 2 heat races in the micro sprint class tonight, 1 heat in the Legends.Direct Legend Cars class, and we will be rounding things off with a heat of the Gopher Midget Racing Series here at Thunder Hill Speedway. Lots of great action out there. For any of you who may be joining the live stream tonight on MBTVsports.com, you can see a nice look at the beautiful grandstands we have out there. Lots of people showing up tonight for round number 5 of the QualityFreightRate.com Storm Series here at Thunder Hill Speedway, where tonight is Alumni Night. As a reminder, you may have seen Jesse Glenz carrying Old Glory out there on the track during the playing of the national anthem, but he will have his late model on display all evening long as we are celebrating the Thunder Hill Speedway alumni of past and present. You know, we've had a lot of great racers make their way through the track here at Thunder Hill Speedway over the years. You know, we have Jesse Glenz in the stands tonight with his late model. You know, a few of the other racers that we have had come through the lineup here at Thunder Hill Speedway. We've had sprint car racer Blake Anderson, late model racer Sammy Mars, James Giassi, the late model racer Chase Vierbarak, the sprint car racer Kennedy Swan Racing Modifieds, Caden Blazer and Blake Adams Racing Modifieds as well, Cooper Sunby, the late model racer, many, many more have made their way through the stands here, or through the racetrack at Thunder Hill Speedway. Growing some nice racers throughout the series is one of our prides here at Thunder Hill Speedway. You know, we take pride in ourselves on the track prep that's able to create great racers and move them on to great things. We're happy to have them when we're here, and we're happy to bring them back during Alumni Night tonight. Still have a little bit of time before we get into our first green flag of the evening. But as a reminder, some racing action that will be coming up here over the next couple weeks. You heard me talking about it a little earlier on, but for those of you just tuning in right now, you know, we're here tonight for Alumni Night. 2 weeks from now will be our final Wednesday night race of the season, where we will be doing race number 6 of the QualityFreightRate.com Storm Series, double points night. So we might be changing up the championship standings 2 weeks from tonight, as well as tonight. And we have a couple weekend shows going on throughout the rest of the season before we round things off Saturday, October 11th for the Bone Shaker Showdown. Tonight's premier sponsors bringing things for you tonight. We have Timber Inn Bar and Grill. John and Amy Stalter come to create a comfortable place to relax and enjoy some great food and drinks. They've been the owners of the Timber Inn Bar and Grill since October 2015. We're happy to have them along for the ride, not only tonight, but this year total. Amy Staltler is actually Chad's sister, and John, her husband, is Chad's brother-in-law. So we're happy to have them along as sponsors for tonight's action here at Thunder Hill Speedway. And right now, we're issuing out our first race of the evening. Our rookie cage competitors making their way out onto the track. We have 7 racers in the rookie cage class tonight. It's going to be the 22 of Theo LeBlanc, the 0 of Aria Johnson, 3 of Paxton Friedrich, the 5S of Sam Pettit, 13 of Julian Logslet, the 60 JR of Mila Baker, and the 16 of Jack Smith. Going to be hitting the track for our rookie cage class. Now, those of you who have been here before know that the rookie cage class is going to be a little bit different from what you see during the rest of the racing action here, Thunderhill Speedway. This is going to be a class for brand new racers. It may be their first full year in a go-kart. It may be their first couple races. It may be their very first race on a track. Heck, some of these racers, it may be their first time behind the wheel on a track. So, we're going to give them a little bit of a different chance than we will for our other racers this evening. We kind of just send them out there, let them get their laps in, get a feel for the racing surface. They get 8 laps of green flag action out there on the track to see what it's like to be behind the wheel, to be side by side with competitors, to be outside on a track surface as opposed to, where else may be riding here, getting feel for their kart. But it's going to be, though competitive, you see racers going side by side throughout the field there. It is going to be a little bit more lighter, just kind of giving them a taste for what it's like to be a go-kart racer. There you can see a nice little battle raging on between the 16 machine of Jack Smith, and I believe that was the 0 of Aria Johnson right ahead of Smith. Going on a nice little side-by-side battle there. Aria open up a little bit of a gap. There we have the 60 JR of Mila Baker as well. Baker trying to get into the mix here. Might be trying to turn this into a little 3-kart battle for position, as we're all slowly but surely drawing on each other. Baker looking to the side of Smith, seeing if she might be able to get around there. Takes a look to the outside. Able to get side by side and make a pass for position there. Getting racy in the rookie cage class tonight. There we can also see the 3 of Paxton Friedrich hitting the track as well, making his way onto the back straightaway there into turns 3 and 4. Getting a feel for the racing surface. Seeing what it's like out there behind the wheel of that beautiful go-kart. There's some side-by-side racing action as well between the 16 of Smith and the 5S of Sam Pettit. Smith and Pettit, both regulars here in the rookie cage class, getting a feel for the racing conditions, seeing what it's like out there. So we put another lap in the books. We have lots of great racing action coming at you guys tonight. Rookie cage starting things off strong. We have quite a few other classes. All of your normal classes here. Arbox, junior wing, intermediate wing, 125, 250 wing class, Sportsman. We have our winged micro sprints tonight. Legends.Direct legend cars. Or Gopher Midget racing series out here this evening as well. But we always love to start things off with our rookie cage class. Start with the youngsters, work our way up, and just kind of see, all of these racers that we are celebrating for Alumni Night tonight at some point or another started off just like this, brand new to racing, brand new to seeing what it's like behind the wheel of a kart. They all had to learn somewhere, and so we're happy to see the future of the sport out here tonight in the rookie cage class. You can see there in the flag tower, they're starting to get the checkered flag ready. As we send our crew off there, they have received the checkered flag. That was my bad. I was seeing them take it away, not put it out there. So I do apologize on the confusion, but that right there is your first heat race of the evening, the rookie cage class. We'll let our last couple racers make their way off the racing surface before we get into our more traditional feel of racing as we bring out heat race number 1 of 3 for the Arbox class. Heat race 1, we're going to have 6 competitors hitting the track. Starting off on the inside of row number 1, it's going to be the 4 of Luke Pettit, side by side with Axel Fahrenholtz piloting the 20X machine. Inside row number 2, it's going to be Henrik Hollerud racing the 19H alongside the 32 of Otto Eriksson out of Colfax, Wisconsin. And inside that third and final row, also from Colfax, it's going to be the 16 of Oakley Booth and Lane Baker piloting the 60 out of Boyd, Wisconsin. 6 racers about to hit the track for 8 laps of side-by-side racing action. I believe we are going to be having a B-main in this class tonight. So these racers are not just racing for a good spot in the A-main, but they are also going to be racing for a direct transfer into the A-main. So you'll want to keep an eye. We'll have some great racing action here throughout the evening, as I believe we do have the green flag there. Nice battles side by side developing. We have a nice little 3-cart battle for position there in the middle of the field. Out front all alone, though, leading from the get-go, it's the 4 of Pettit, setting the pace, leading the charge. Nice side-by-side battle between Booth and Fahrenholtz. Fahrenholtz trying to hold on strong for that spot. Booth able to make the pass, though. Fahrenholtz battles back to the inside. Now Booth ducks down to the inside. Booth now up to second. Fahrenholtz back to third. Now don't count out the 60 of Lane Baker trying to get into the mix. It's still Booth, Fahrenholtz, Baker, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have a 4th cart getting into this as a 4-car battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's the 32 of Otto Eriksson trying to get into the mix. Pettit's out front all by himself. He's got this lead in the bag, but we have half a race left to determine 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Right now it's Booth, Fahrenholtz, Baker, Eriksson, but now that 4-cart battle's turned into a 3-cart battle as the 60 of Baker looks to the outside of the 20X of Fahrenholtz. Nothing going there, ducks down low, not able to make a move, goes back high, tries to settle this right here, right now, but Fahrenholtz is holding on. Baker to the inside, side by side across the line. Slight advantage to Baker. Baker now has sole possession of that 3rd place position. Fahrenholtz going back to 4th. Will Eriksson be able to capitalize with 1 lap left to go? White flag is out. He's led the whole race. He's got 2.5 second gap. And as he turns 3 and 4 onto the checkered flag is going to fly for your heat race winner. The 4 of Luke Pettit taking the heat race win tonight in heat number 1 of an exciting race. Booth going to finish 2nd. Baker going to hold on to that 3rd place spot. It'll be Eriksson and Fahrenholtz rounding out your top 5 for heat race number 1 of the Arbox class. Wow, that is one thing, ladies and gentlemen. I love all of the races that we have here every night, but one thing's for sure. Just because they are some of the youngest racers out there doesn't mean that the Arbox class isn't going to have some exciting racing action. There's always lots of friendly competition out there, side-by-side battles. We are always consistent, if one thing, in the Arbox class. That was heat race number 1. Heat race number 2 is going to be coming up next. Another 6 racers trying to get a checkered flag here at the end. Inside of row number 1, we have Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin's Thatcher Nelson racing the 85. Side by side with Bentley Larson in the 1, also out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Row number 2 has Downville, Wisconsin, Dirks LeBlanc in the 22, and the 8080 of Barrett Evans, the 34 of Langer, and the 10 of Bargender round out your field. As it looks like it's not quite the start we were looking for. So we're going to let them re-rack and restack here. And hopefully this time around, we will have some green flag racing action for you folks. Coming out of turn number 4, nice start there by the 1 of Bentley Larson. Taking over that lead early on. It's going to be the 85 of Nelson. Towing back a little, holding on to 2nd. We've got the nice side-by for 3rd and 4th, though. The 3rd Langer able to get by the 22 of LeBlanc for that 3rd podium spot. It's Larson, Nelson, Langer, LeBlanc, Bargender, your top 5 as it stands. Then it's going to be the 88 machine of Barrett Evans rounding out your 6-cart field as we've got a battle for the lead raging on. 3 carts wide. Larson out front all alone. Side-by-side battle between Nelson and Langer. Langer with the slight advantage there as they're going to lock going into turn number 3. And that is not what Nelson and Langer wanted to see as they're battling for the lead out front there. Now remember, we are having a B-main in the Arbox class this evening, so these racers are fighting for a direct transfer to the A-main later on. I believe the top 3 from each heat race are getting a direct transfer into the A-main. So they were both in transfer positions, direct transfer positions. we'll see. They have 6 laps left to hopefully battle back and get back up there. But right now, that's exactly what the one of Bentley Larson wanted to see. Larson had some heat on his tail. Now he's going to have a little bit of a gap. We are restarting here, but now I believe it will end up being the 1 of Larson, the 22 of LeBlanc, 10 of Bargender, 88 of Evans, then it's the 85 of Nelson, and the 34 of Langer in your new restart, as we're going to do a single file restart here in our Arbox heat race number 2 of the evening. Single file on the backstretch through turns 3 and 4, a little bumping and banging from all of our carts as they're getting excited to get that green flag there. Coming out at 4, green flag is going to fly, and it's going to be Larson and LeBlanc pulling away from the rest of the field. LeBlanc ducks down low, not able to make a pass there, but still holding on strong to the leader. But we've got a 4-cart battle for third on back. It's Bargender right now, Evans, Nelson, and the 34 of Langer all duking it out side by side. Not even halfway through this heat race, and it is anyone's guess. One machine of Bentley Larson still holding on strong to the lead. LeBlanc and the rest of the field holding on just behind, as now all 6 of our carts are within decent passing distance of one another. We see the 85 of Nelson stepping into the outside, trying to make a move on the 10 of Bargender. Top 4 racers only with a .708 gap between them. Now we're throwing in the 34 of Langer, and it's .79 seconds gapping our top 5 racers. The 88 of Evans just behind, as well, as we're coming up to the white flag. 1 lap left to go for all 6 of our competitors. Larson has it. Bargender wants it. LeBlanc getting into the mix. LeBlanc gonna duck down on Bargender. Bargender's going around. Evans getting into the mix, not able to avoid it. And we've got a whole bunch of wild craziness going on here during the white flag lap. We're going to get everyone restarted there. Wow, that was deeming to be a pretty crazy finish. And with what I assume is going to be a green-white checkered, it will be just as crazy this time around again. All 6 of our racers, just a .79 second gap between them. You don't really see that a lot, folks. That was some crazy action through turns 3 and 4. We're going to give them another lap here. You can see on the replay there, LeBlanc going up high, Bargender going down low, trying to pass on each other, not able to do it. The 88 of Evans just getting some collateral damage there with nowhere else to go. The 34 of Langer ducked down low. The 85 of Nelson went high. Evans just got stuck in the mix. Evans getting a little bit of air there with his front wheels. And now we're going to send out our 3rd and final heat race for the Arbox class. Heat race number 3, another 6 racers. We have the 36 of Henry Junker and the 23 of Harper Halopka on the first row. Levi Anderson piloting the 44, and Kate Knops in the 93 in row number 2, the 95 of Sullivan Phil, and the 21 of Palmer Haas going to round out your field. As we're green flag racing action, top 3 racers going to battle out front. A little bit of gap before we get back to a side-by-side battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Nice battle out there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th raging, as our leader able to pull away from the rest of the field. That's the 36 of Henry Junker. Henry Junker currently your points champion, tied actually as your points champion with the 16 of Oakley Booth. So no matter what, after this evening, we are going to have a new points leader in this class, which is crazy to see. Side-by-side battle still raging for second and third as Junker pulls away from the rest of the field. The 44 of Anderson on the inside, 23 of Halopka on the outside. Halopka not able to go anywhere, trying the outside, trying the inside, back to the outside. And all this time, the 21 of Palmer Haas is able to get into the mix, along with the 95 of Phil trying to do so as well. 4 laps in, 4 laps left to go. Side by side for second and third. Halopka now up to that second place spot. Anderson going to move back to third. A little bit of gap before we get back to Haas and Phil. Now in a side-by-side battle for fourth and fifth. Out front all alone, though, with a mere 2.5 second gap. It's the 36 of current points champion, Henry Junker, putting another lap in the books there. Only 2 laps left to go for Junker and co. As now Halopka has held on to a solid lone second place position. Anderson a little further back. The only battle on the track there is going to be that 3-cart battle at the rear of the field. One last time, though, into turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag is going to fly. He led lap to lap, and he's taken the heat race win. Henry Junker is going to be your heat race winner in heat number 3. Harper Halopka going to finish second, and it'll end up being the 95 of Sullivan Phil rounding out your podium today for heat race number 3 of the Arbox class. Wow, that was eventful. And we're going to see even more hard-charging racing action there. B-main later on tonight. We're going to run our heat races first. Then we'll move into our 2 mains. I believe we have a B-main in the Arbox class and the junior wing class. Then we'll move into our rookie cage feature before we go into our intermission for the evening, into our finals. Right now, though, heat race 1 of 3 for our junior wings hitting the track. 7 racers in this first class. Lineup's going to look like this. On the pole, it's the 15 JR of Luke Patterson out of Farmington, Minnesota, alongside Ashton Fahrenholtz in the 21 out of Minnesota City, Minnesota. Kinsley Schmutz in the 7D JR and Archer Hoffbeck in the 14. 1S of Subert, 30 of Gunderson, 18T of Swan rounding out your field as we're green flag racing. 14 of Hoffbeck getting a little high there. The 1S of Subert able to duck down below, move up to third place. Get back onto the front straightaway. A side-by-side battle raging between our top 2 racers. It's the 15 JR of Patterson and the 21 of Fahrenholtz side-by-side, as we've got battles going on all throughout the field. That time around, slight advantage on the outside of the 21 of Fahrenholtz as he loops it around. Hoffbeck with nowhere to go slides into his side, going through 1 and 2, battling for position, actually currently holding the lead. Fahrenholtz is going to step out on that track there. He's going to get a little too slideways. And that right there is not going to be great for Fahrenholtz as he was holding on to that lead. Didn't look like there was any bumping or banging going on there. You can see on this replay here on MBTVsports.com. Just got a little too sideways. They have tucked a little low on Patterson, but looks like just racing action there. Nothing too bad, but Hoffbeck just had nowhere to go. Tried to do an avoidance spin, ends up sliding right into Fahrenholtz. Well, that'll give Subert and Patterson the start that they need to be out front. Then it's the 18T of Swan, currently sitting in third, as now Fahrenholtz goes high, getting into the 30 machine of Gunderson. What started rough is going to go even worse for Fahrenholtz. Definitely not the start to the race that he was looking for. Now, similar to what we had in the Arbox class, we're also having this junior wing class tonight. We are doing a Venus class. So these racers aren't just racing right now for a good starting spot in the A-main, but they're racing for a direct transfer to the A-main. No one wants to go through the B-main. Unfortunately, as Fahrenholtz pulls onto the inside, looks like his heat race has come to a close. We started with 7, we're down to 6. We're doing a single file restart here. It'll be the 15 JR of Patterson, 1S of Subert, the 18T of Swan, then it's the 7D JR of Schmutz, Hoffbeck, and Gunderson rounding out your field as the green flag flies on this restart. Our top 3 pulling away from the rest of the field. It's Patterson, Subert, Swan, 1, 2, 3. A little bit of gap before we get back to Gunderson, Hoffbeck, and Schmutz in 4th, 5th, and 6th. 3 kart battles for position, both at the front of the field and at the rear of the field. Only 0.5 seconds separating our top 3 competitors. And we have a 1.5 second gap from there, and another 0.5 second gap for our 4th, 5th, and 6th place competitors. Starting to get single file throughout the field. It's Patterson, Subert, Swan up front, still 1, 2, 3. Hoffbeck trying to put chase on the rest of the field, see if he might be able to mix it up front there, but holding on to that lead in that 3-kart battle between Hoffbeck, Schmutz, and Gunderson. Out front, it's still all Patterson, as he's slowly but surely growing that gap there on the 1S of Subert. Subert holding on strong, but each lap giving a little bit more. One last time onto the front straightaway. Checkered's gonna fly, and it's the 15 JR of Luke Patterson taking the heat win today. Subert gonna finish second in the 1S. Swan in the 18T gonna round out your podium. That'll be Hoffbeck, Schmutz, Gunderson, the rest of your field for heat race number 1 of the junior wing class. That is heat race 1 of 3. Up next, heat race number 2, 6 competitors hitting the field. Kane Buss racing the 88 out of Boyceville, Wisconsin, alongside Jonathan Pettit III piloting the 3J out of Winona, Minnesota. Row number 2, we have Trempealeau, Wisconsin's Alan Byrne racing the 8, along with Bruce, Wisconsin's Austin Lockburner in the 20. And in that 3rd and final row, it's Ty Prochnow racing the 85T out of River Falls, Wisconsin, alongside Easton Schultz racing the 7S out of good old Menominee, Wisconsin, one of the hometown heroes out here tonight. As we've got some smoke from the 85T of Prochnow. Gonna get the green flag, 3 wide into the first corner. But out front all alone, it's gonna be the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III holding on to the early race lead. Pulling away from the rest of the field there. Nice little battle raging on for 4th, 5th, and 6th between the 20 of Lockburner, the 7S of Schultz, and the 85T of Prochnow. Out front, though, it continues to be Pettit III's race. In the books for Pettit, as that 3-kart battle at the rear of the field is still raging on strong. Lockburner has 4th. Schultz wants 4th. Prochnow just behind. White flag is out. One more lap to go for Jonathan Pettit III. Through turns 3 and 4, checkered flag is in his sights, flag to flag. It's going to be Jonathan Pettit III taking the heat race win tonight in heat number 2 of the junior wing class. It'll be the 8 of Alan Byrne finishing second, the 88 of Kane Buss. Rounding out your field, Kane Buss in 3rd, Lockburner in 4th, Schultz going to be rounding out your top 5 for heat race number 2 of the junior wing class. Up next, heat race number 3, another 6 racers making the lineup today. We have the 60 of Marshall Dawson side by side with Jacob Demmel piloting the 19 machine. Inside row number 2, it's the 10 of Joseph Bargender alongside your current points champion, the 99 of Bentley Halapka. 3rd and final row sees the 31 of Grant Keller and Brandon Stevens piloting the 15 machine. As we come out of turn number 4, green flag is going to fly for our final heat race of the junior wing class. the 60 of Dawson setting the pace. Demel in second, but don't count out Halapka. Halapka looks to the outside of Demel, side by side for second. Demel's gonna hold on strong, powering through those corners. He's got the preferred inside line. Halapka having to take the long way around. He's able to finally get by and hold on to sole possession of second place. Now he's setting his sights on the 6D of Dawson, trying to take over that lead. He ducks down low, hops the berm slightly. He's able to hold on to it, but not draw any nearer. Through 1 and 2, looks down low. Dawson holding on strong to the lead there. Halapka still in the hunt. Takes that extreme low line once again, still slight advantage to Dawson. Halapka trying to get as low as possible, able to get up side by side, but each time keeps smacking that berm and draws back slightly. This time he's able to make the pass. New race leader. Halfway through this race, Halapka now up to the top spot, trying to pull away, but Dawson isn't going to let him. Demel still holding on to third, now setting his sights on the 60 of Dawson. Our top three have fully separated from the rest of the field there. We're single file throughout the field. White flag is out, one more lap to go for our final heat race in the junior wing class. Out of turns 3 and 4, checkered flag's gonna fly. Bentley Halapka, my apologies, Bentley gonna take the heat race win tonight in the junior wing class. The 6D of Marshall Dawson gonna finish second. 19 of Jacob Demel gonna be rounding out our top 3 for heat race number 3 of the junior wing class. Wow, lots of great racing action there throughout the field. You know, the junior wing class, another one of those classes like the Arbox class, you know, they may be the youngsters out here, or some of the youngsters, but they always put on some great racing action, especially when they're battling for one of those coveted direct transfers to the A-main. Up next, we're moving into our intermediate wing class. We only have one heat race for you tonight, but we have 7 racers hitting the track. The 27 of Xander Glumsky side by side with Callan Haas in the 17. 1S of Dylan Subert alongside the 44 of Reese Smith. Row number 3 has the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III and the 8 of Kennedy Cluckus. And rounding out your 7-cart field all alone in the 4th and final row is going to end up being the 8X of Alan Byrne. Lineup seems to be good. As we make our way onto the back stretch, I believe we'll be going green flag this time by. Green flag is out. It's a drag race on the front stretch, but the advantage is going to go to the 17 of Colin Haas. Haas, your early race leader. Glumsky going to settle for second currently. Then we have right behind them Glumsky dropping back to third, my apologies. Now battling with the 8X of Byrne. Byrne able to get down to the inside, move up to that 3rd place spot. Got a nice battle there at the rear of the field as well between the 3J of Pettit III and the 8 of Cluckus. Nice battle going on there between Subert and Glumsky. Subert able to make the pass down to the inside and move up into, I believe, 4th place now, setting his sights on the rest of the field there. Halfway through this race, you're like this. 17 of Haas, all 44 of Smith putting on shakes though. Only 0.3 seconds gapping those 2 racers. 8X of Burns sitting in 3rd, Subert in 4th, Glumsky in 5th. Single file throughout the field, but we've got close racing action all throughout there. 1 lap left to go through turns 3 and 4. Flag to flag, your race winner is going to end up being the 17 of Colin Haas, taking the checkered flag today. 44 of Reese Smith putting on a solid showing, finishing second. The 8X of Alan Byrne from the very back of the field going to round out your top 3 for your lone intermediate wing heat race today. Now we'll be moving into something completely different. Our Sportsman class taking their lone heat race out there in just a moment. Before we give you your starting lineup for them tonight. Just a quick reminder, tonight is Alumni Night, and we do have Jesse Glenz in the stands tonight showing off his late model. Feel free to go check it out. You did see it out on the track for the national anthem, but it is on display right now. Feel free to go have a look at it sometime throughout the evening. And he's here to say hi after the race. So we'll have some great alumni action with you all this evening. Now we get back to the Sportsman class. 6 racers. Your lineup's going to go the 55 of Trayton Velchek, 76 of Josh Fuster in row 1. Row 2 is the 191 of Steven Svalls and the 88 of Ashton Henshin, 74 of Jake Johnson, 555 of Matt Velchek. Rounding out your field as the green flag flies. Get ready for some side-by-side bumping and banging. The Sportsmen know how to put on a heck of a show as we're already 3 wide. 4-cart, 5-cart, 6-cart battle at the front of the field. It's anyone's spot right now. Out front, holding on to the early race, though, I believe that is the 191 of Steven Svalls, the 555 of Trayton Velchek, holding on to second, 555 of Matt Velchek right behind in third. Matt able to make the pass on Trayton. Matt now up to that second place spot as Svalls is able to pull away slightly out front. It's now a 3-cart battle for second, third, and fourth between Velchek, Johnson, and now Henshin moving up there. Svalls with a half-second gap on the rest of the field trying to pull away. But that battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth is still raging on behind him. Johnson is now sitting in second place. The 55 of Trayton Velchek in third, Henshin fourth, Matt Velchek in fifth. As we have 3 laps left to go. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for our Sportsman class. It's been Svalls out front all alone. Battle right behind him for second and third. Checkered flag is going to fly. Steven Svalls going to take the heat race win today. It'll be the 74 of Johnson sitting in second. The 55 of Trayton Velchek going to round out your podium. 88 of Henshin, 555 of Matt Velchek, and the 76 of Josh Fuster going to round out your 6-cart field in the ever-exciting Sportsman class. Now, I saw a little bit here before with that last race, but want to give a shout-out to Jesse Glenz, who we have on the mic today. Jesse, how are you doing today?
Good, how about you? Just enjoying the show.
Same here. They are putting on a heck of a show here at Thunder Hill Speedway. We're excited to have you out here tonight. I know you want to chat with you a little bit later as well, but I know you've had an exciting past few weeks here after some of the racing that you had at Red Cedar Speedway. I know you ended up finishing first in their big show on the 8th, but excited to have you out here to Thunder Hill Speedway for some Alumni Night action this evening.
Yeah, no, it's been a great year so far when we do get to race. A lot of rainouts, but when we do get to race, it's been great, so couldn't be happier. Always enjoy coming out here on a Wednesday night to check out, where I grew up racing. And that was the first heat I saw this last one, so always good to get a refresher and see the flat carts out there. That's what I grew up watching a lot, so let's see how this weekend race goes.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming out, Jesse. I'll chat with you a little bit here. Excited to have you on the mic. Right now, though, heat race number 1 of our 125-250 wing class. We have the 13E of Nick Moulter and the 60 of Riley Dawson on that inside row. 2A of Trace, that's 99 of Halapka, 2.0 of Helen, 29 of Crop rounding out your field. As we got the green flag. 99 of Bentley Halapka making moves there, trying to make a move into third place. Out front all alone, though, the 6D of Dawson with a great hop off the line. Already a 1.5 second gap, a 2-turn advantage over that battle for second and third. Now being held on solely by the 99 of Bentley, the 13E of Moulter settling for third. As we have one of our carts, looks like that's the 2.0 of Helen, getting into the wall there on the front straightaway. That is going to end up drawing the caution, so we'll do a quick re-rack and restack here before we get back to some green flag action.
Quick shout out,
restarted
that
single
leader,
file.
That's got to be one of the best looking wing carts I've seen in a long time. That thing just really pops with the purple.
Absolutely beautiful. I love getting to see that purple color out there. Honestly, not something you see too much in racing, but Dawson's cart is looking beautiful tonight. We have another purple cart out there as well. The 2A of Traceth, lots of color in this class. We get the green flag going. Dawson's going to lead the charge through 1 and 2 as we've got a single file battle raging on behind him. 13E of Molter holding on to second. 99 of Halapka rounding out your podium as it stands. Dawson setting the pace, and what is up here in heat race number 1 of our 125-250 wing class, and he's already got a 3-second gap over that battle for second and third between Halapka and Molter. Showing these kids how it's done. Taking that inside line, making his way through some lap traffic, and doing it with ease. White flag is out. One more lap to go for our race leader. Another little battle there going on for the 5th between Helen and Traceth. But through 3 and 4, checkered flag is going to fly. Riley Dawson's a heat race winner tonight. And then some, putting on a clinic, a 5.1 second gap between him and that battle for second. Bentley Halapka going to finish second in the 99, the 2.0 Helen going to round out your podium for heat race number 2, or heat race number 1 of 2 for your 125-250 wing class. We'll move them off the track and give you your starting lineup for heat race number 2 of 2. Inside of row number 1 is going to have the 8 of Brody Conkey alongside the 30 of Tyler Alton. Row 2, we have the UFO2 of Holden Harder on the inside, Blake DeSmith in the 66B on the outside. And inside that third and final row, it's the 22 of Davin Hawk alongside the 99 JR of Landon Stupride. 6 racers, 8 laps for heat race number 2 of 2 in the 125-250 wing class. Giving our carts a moment there to warm up their tires, make sure they're all set and ready to go for green flag action here. As we've got them back in their correct starting lineup there. Once again, it's Conkey, Alton out front, Harder DeSmith in row 2, and Hawk and Supry rounding out your 6-cart field. Through 3 and 4, green flag is out, and Alton going to lead the charge into 1 and 2. The 8 of Conkey on the inside, moving back to second. UFO 2 of Harder tucks down low in that battle for 3rd and 4th. But it's the 22 machine of Davin Hawk taking that outside line, moving up to 3rd place, setting his sights out on that battle for the lead out front. Currently Alton, Conkey 1 and 2, Hawk, Harder, Supry 3rd, 4th, and 5th. to Smith rounding out your 6-cart field. Single file throughout the field. Similar gaps between all of our racers there, just about 0.7 seconds in between every position out on the track. Another lap like we're a little over halfway through this heat race.
Everybody's kind of just getting strung out at the same pace.
Through turns 3 and 4, white flag is going to show one more lap to go for the 30 of Tyler Alton as he comes up on the rear end of the field. One final time, checkered flag is in his sights, and Tyler Alton is a heat race winner here tonight. He's going to take the win in heat number 2 of the 125-250 weight class. The 8 of Brody Conkey is going to settle for second place. 22 of Hawk from the back row, rounding out your podium in heat race number 2 of 2. Up next, we're going to get extra racy out there as we bring out our K&K Racing Micro Sprints class. 9 racers in heat race number 1 of 2. Your lineup is going to look like this. Inside row number 1, we have Ellsworth, Wisconsin's 46G of Jackson Geraji. Alongside Clear Lake, Wisconsin's Brendan Newell racing the 22 machine. Row number 2, we have Jeff Friedrich racing the 27C out of Potosi, Wisconsin, and Brandon Friedrich racing the 3J from Hudson, Wisconsin. Row number 3 sees the 28 of Mason Hale out of Trempealeau, side by side with Landry Singleton in the 19L from Mora, Minnesota. Row number 4, the 88 of Caleb Moen racing out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and the 628 machine of New Richmond, Wisconsin's Brian Link. And rounding out your 9-cart field all alone there at the rear of the pack in row number 5, it's Indianola, Iowa's 13V of Riley Dawson. We saw Riley Dawson take a heat race win just a couple races ago. Now we'll see him duking it out in the micro sprint class.
Yeah, just real quick there, Zach, on that last heat. I haven't been to any races here this year, but it looked like that Alton had a whole bunch of win stickers on there, and that thing is for sale. So anybody looking, looks like it'd be a good deal.
Exactly. We've been seeing a lot of good stuff from Tyler Alton all season. Got 4 feature race wins on the season, 3 top 5s. Or 4 features he's been in, 3 of them have been top 5s, 4 top 10s, but a lot of great racing action there from Alton. Back to micro sprints though, not quite the start we were looking for. So we're gonna re-rack and re-stack them. Geraji Newville out front. Friedrich row number 2. Hale Singleton is your 3rd row. Moen Link is 4th. And then Dawson is going to be your lone racer in row number 5. Lineup seems to be good going into turns 3 and 4. Green flag is out. And it's Geraji leading the charge into 1 and 2 as we've got the 22 of Newell looping it through 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was a gutsy move to pull in the full corner, first corner, going from high to low right away, and it just didn't really work out. It looked like he had it planted and maybe just got tapped, making an abrupt move like that, but we'll try it. Maybe 3rd time's a charm.
Exactly. We have been seeing quite a few spinouts there in 1 and 2. Not quite sure what the track condition is like. You know, Jesse, I know you were out there earlier. Granted, you did a national flag lap, but how's 1 and 2 feeling? Is it a little slick out there? You think the racers are just giving it a little too much early on, or what's the conditions like out there?
Well, I mean, any racer, if there's a gap, you got to go for it. But yeah, I told Chad it was a little tacky for me early on.
Gotcha. Nice. Green flag is back out. Let's see if third time is the charm. 22 of Newville tucks down low, tries to make that move again. Not able to make it, but we do have a side-by-side battle for third and fourth raging on between the 88 of Moen and the 27C of Friedrich. Moen able to secure sole possession of that third place spot. Out front, though, it's still Draghi, Newville, 1 and 2. Draghi taking that extreme high line. Newville down low as Moen's trying to get in on the mix now. Moen getting up side by side with the 22 of Newville. Making a move on the outside. Moen's loved that extreme high line all year long.
Yeah, I talked to him pre-race and said he's having quite a few engine problems this year, but it looks like that engine's purring like it's hitting right now, and as he gets by 22.
You can say that again. He's putting in the work from the inside of row number 4 up to a battle for the lead already. He tucks down low. It's side by side onto the front straightaway. Slight advantage still to Draghi that time around, but we've got 2 laps left to see how this will end up out front. Moen goes down low again, taking that extreme low line, Draghi out high. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go to decide the battle for the lead. Into turns 3 and 4, we're side by side. It's a drag race down to the line. Moen gonna take over the lead there and take the win in heat race number 1 of the K&K Racing Micro Sprint class. After the entire race, the 46G of Draghi gonna have to settle for a devastating second place finish. 22 of Newville gonna round out your podium. Singleton and Hale rounding out that top 5 there.
Yeah,
in an exciting heat race number 1.
Looked like the rest of the field, the bottom was the preferred line. Looked like all the way through everybody was kind of fighting to get to the bottom, and Moen was maybe one of the first ones to get down there and make that work, as the leader was drifting out a little bit and just nipped him at the line.
We love to see it. We're always guaranteed with some great racing action here in the K&K Racing Micro Sprint class. Heat race 2 up next. We have another 9 competitors making their way out. Row number 1, it's the 26D of Jackson Peters out of Waupun, Wisconsin, side by side with Menominee's very own Keegan Koss in the 23. Row number 2, we have the 100 of Allison Eddy racing out of St. Michael, Minnesota, alongside Marshall Willing piloting the 128 from Becker, Minnesota. Row number 3, it's Trent Below's 28X of Maddie Hale and Mason Subert piloting the 99 from Welch, Minnesota. Row number 4 is St. Cloud's 10 of Owen Henricks and New Richmond's 37 of Landon Davis, your current points champion in the micro sprint class. C71 of Carter Jensrud all alone in the back of the field out of River Falls as we get the green flag here for heat race number 2. Top 2 racers are pretty solid. The rest of the field all on back. It's a battle, duking it out for position. Peters in the 26T pulling away from a 3-cart battle for second, third, and fourth. Willing, Koss, Davis, 2, 3, 4 as it sits, as now we've got a 4-cart battle for fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. 3 wide through 3 and 4. As it's now Jensrud up to 4th, setting his sights on 3rd. Peters, Davis out front all alone in that battle for the lead. A little space back to the 128 of Willing. Then we have the C71 of Jensrud and the 10 of Henricks just outside there. We're starting to get into some single file racing action throughout the field. Still close battles throughout. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for our competitors, and it's been all Peters all race. We'll see if Davis can put a battle for the lead on there. One last time through 3 and 4. Peters low, Davis high. Checkered flag is gonna fly for Jackson Peters in the 26th feed, taking the heat race win tonight. 37 of current points champion Landon Davis gonna settle for second. The 128 of Marshall Willing going to round out your top 3. C71 of Carter Jensrud from the very back of the field going to finish 4th. The 10 of Hendricks rounding out your top 5 in the final heat race for the K&K Racing Micro Sprints class. So, Jesse, how you feeling about that race right there?
Yeah, that was a good one. I know I heard that Jen's drew name before, and you said Davis was current points leader or defending champion, so kept my eye on them a little bit, and they both came from like 8th and 9th, 2nd and 4th, so they had their work cut out for them, but they got it done.
They've been putting on great shows all season long. Excited to see what they do during the feature later on tonight. But now we're going to move on to our Legends.Direct Legend Cars class. We have 8 racers hitting the track tonight. Eau Claire, Wisconsin's Derek Crumrye piloting the 33 is going to be your pole sitter, side by side with the 4S Montesco's Chris Sleep. Row number 2 sees Arkansas, Wisconsin's Shadow Kitchener racing the 68 on the inside. On the outside, Josiah Kashadi racing the 67 from Ramsey. Inside row number 3, it's Pierre, South Dakota's Mark Brewer piloting the 60 machine alongside Aiden Erickson racing the 49 out of Cumberland, Wisconsin. Row number 4, it's the 94 Levi Brewer and the 7K of Teddy Kashadi. Rounding out your field, green flag flies, Crumrye going to set the pace into 1 and 2. Don't count out the 68 of Kitchener, though. Kitchener looks to the inside, battle for the lead. Kitchener's your new race leader. He's going up and around, flipping multiple times on his side. Look out, look out, look out. Track crew right on the scene, making sure the 68 of Shadow Kitchener is okay. And wow, that was a wild one right there.
Yeah, definitely something you don't like to see. No Shadow a little bit. I mean, I saw him get a win here earlier this year, and I mean, he's had a couple big wins at Midwest Mods. Hopefully he's all right, and if I know him good enough, I think he's going to be like, oh, if all my tires are inflated, let's get back to it.
Yeah, Shadow's had a great season here. He's actually our current points champion in the class right now. He's leading the charge, has a 10-point gap over the 67 of Josiah Kashadi. Let's take a look at what happened here. Side by side through 3 and 4. Kitchener ducks down low. Looks like I don't know if he got caught on Crumrye there or if he hit a section that was a bit too tacky. May have even had a tire pop or catch, but all of a sudden it was just out of nowhere. Pops up to the side, barrel rolls. Let's take another quick look here, see if we can dissect what quite happened. Sliding a little sideways through 3 and 4. Looks like he may have gotten up on the front left corner of Crumrye. Does a double barrel roll.
That's usually just what ends up happening. Looked like he was maybe going for a slide job, or it was just a little wet down there for these cars yet. But Crumrye, slid out, opened the door for him, and saw the gap and went for it.
See the clapping, which is a good sign. We never want to see anything like this happen while we're racing, but we are happy that our track crew was right on the scene, able to check up on our downed racer, make sure that he is okay. Kitchener down in the infield now. Definitely not the start to his heat race that he was looking for. But we're just happy to see him up and moving around out of his car.
Yeah, definitely happy to see him get out of that. Sometimes they look violent, sometimes they don't, and you just never know what they feel like in the car, though.
Exactly. So already an eventful start to our Legends.Direct Legend Cars heat race, as we're now down to 7 racers, and it looks like we may be down to 6 as I see the 67 of Josiah Kashadi leading the tow into the infield there. Josiah's heat race has also come to a close, so we're down a quarter. I believe because we hadn't completed a full lap there, it is going to be a full restart, which will lead the 33 of Derek Crumrye and the 4S of Chris Sleep to be out front all alone. Row 2, we actually had both of our competitors pull down to the infield. So new Row 2 will be the 60 of Mark Brewer and the 49 of Aiden Erickson. Row 3 will end up being the 94 of Levi Brewer and the 7K of Teddy Kashadi. As we make our way through 3 and 4, green flag gonna fly. And Crumrye gonna lead Sleep and Co. into 1 and 2. Sleep taking that extreme high line through 1 and 2. Side-by-side battle for the lead out front. Sleep with that high line, he's able to rock it out of the corners. Crumrye with that inside line, able to duck down low, take the shorter path of the field. But it's working for Sleep as he's getting a little bit of slingshot action going on there throughout the corners. Side-by-side battles for 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th right behind them. 49 of Erickson slightly holding on to that battle for 3rd. Now he's setting his sights on that battle up at the front. Might be trying to take that middle option there in between our two battling for the lead. It's Sleep, Crumrye, Erickson, 1, 2, 3. 7K of Kashadi now up into 4th as it's a 4-car battle for the lead. 3 wide through 1 and 2. Crumrye out front all alone through that section. It's Sleep, Erickson, and Kashadi just behind. Across the line with that slingshot go. The 4S of Sleep with the slight advantage, just 0.04 seconds gapping those top 2 racers as we're 3 wide on the front straightaway. 7K of Kashadi down to the inside. New battle for the lead. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for our racers. As down the front straightaway, it's still Sleep with a 0.004 second gap. Kashadi makes the move to the inside, new race leader. One last time out of 4, checkered flag flies. Teddy Kashadi taking the heat race win from the very back of the field after that restart, moved his way back up to the top there. Wow, what a race that was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's got to be the heat of the night so far. I mean, early on, you thought Crumley was going to take it, then Sleep got by him on the outside, and then 7K sneaks up on the bottom towards the end. That's what you want to see is 3 different lanes of racing, so hopefully we can keep that all night.
Exactly, and I mean, you know, I've been saying it all night. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves in here at Thunder Hill Speedway. Multi-lane racing action, setting these racers up for glory, teaching them the ways early on so that racers such as Jesse Glenz, who's joining me in the box tonight, are able to move their way up through the standings in their racing careers. We're happy to bring some great racing action to this 6th mile here in Thunder Hills Speedway in Menominee, Wisconsin. We've only got 1 heat race left this evening before we move on to our B-mains. I believe we're going to have 2 B-mains, one in the Arbox class, one in the junior wing class. Then we'll have our rookie cage racers come out for their main event here after that. And then we'll move into our intermission.
The Arbox feature, the junior wing feature, and then we will take intermission.
In the meantime, while we have a quick second here, I want to take some time to thank some of our sponsors. I've thanked the premier sponsors for the evening a couple times, but we still want to give some shout outs to our season sponsors as well. QualityFreightRate.com, along for the ride all season long as the title sponsor for the Storm Series here, week in and week out. We also have Auto Value Parts Stores and Conrad's Auto Salvage along for the ride, in addition to People's State Bank. Now, Jesse, while we have a couple seconds here, let's take some time to talk about you. So, you know, it is our Alumni Night. We're happy to have you out here for the evening. We know that you previously raced here at Thunder Hill Speedway. Tell us a little bit about your history with this track. You know, when did you start racing here? How long did you race as a part of Thunder Hill Speedway?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to say how long ago and really give away my age, but it was the year 2000 when I started here. 6 years old, turned 7. It was a lot different back then. We didn't have guardrail. I was telling my dad earlier a joke that we didn't even have the hill cut out for like all the flat parts. It's been so long that the hill's eroded away since I ran here. But yeah, I mean, a lot of racers, not just me. A lot of people in the area cut their teeth at this track, so it's always fun to get back.
We love to see it, and we love to have you back out here for Alumni Night. You know, we talked about the past there, but, you know, as far as this season goes, you've been having a heck of a season as well. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but you ended up winning the race on August 8th at Red Cedar Speedway. You have a feature race win at Cedar Lake Speedway in July, another at Red Cedar in July as well. Tell us about how this season's going for you overall.
Yeah, it's been a great season. Yeah, really just couldn't get happier every time we go out. It seems like we're battling towards the front, or even if we're starting the back, we're moving forward. So, yeah, just super happy with how it's going.
Nice. What's the rest of your season looking like? What are your next few races that you're going to be making your way out to?
Yeah, no problem. Taking this weekend off and next one, and then Labor Day weekend we'll be down to Cresco, Iowa, and Deer Creek Speedway for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then it's pretty much 2 or 3 nights a week for the next 6 weeks after that, all the year-end specials. You know, you got the Punky, the Legendary 100, we might go out to the sites, out in the Dakotas, and then Red Clay and Fall Classic to end it.
Nice, nice. Well, an eventful season so far, and looking to be an eventful season here on out. Looks like we're just having a little bit of trouble getting the 68 of Shadow Kitchener's car off the track after that double barrel roll he had through turns 1 and 2. Looks like he has some damage to the car, causing some issues of getting it off the racing surface. We want to make sure we're not damaging the track for the rest of the races this evening, so our track crew going to do all they can to ensure we're able to car off as easily as possible.
Yeah, hopefully Shadow and that other driver in the Legends class can both get those things fixed up and see him come from the back of the feature.
Exactly. They put on a heck of a show even in that first lap that they had there. So hopefully we'll be able to see them out again later tonight in the A-main. Another quick reminder for all of those out in the grandstands this evening, we are live streaming tonight's events as we have the rest of the season on MBTVsports.com. We're happy to bring some free racing action for anyone who wasn't able to make it out to Thunder Hill Speedway tonight. Feel free to send your friends and family the link to the live stream so they can still be a part of the racing action on tonight's Alumni Night. We're live streaming on MBTVsports.com along with the affiliated MBTV Sports social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/X. We are live streaming not just tonight, but all season long for all of the Thunder Hill Speedway action. So whether you're a racer who wants to send it to some family or friends, you're someone in the crowd you wish was joining along with you, send them that link so they can still be a part of the action. Dragged Shadow's car back to the infield. Looks like we're going to leave that as a problem for later on and send out our Gopher Midget Racing Series heat race. We only have one heat race, 4 racers making the call this evening. Row number 1 is going to be the 56 of Bill Johnson side by side with the 85 of Johnny Parsons III out of Owatonna, Minnesota. Row number 2, the C71 of River Falls is Carter Jensrud, and Ryan Bowers racing the 55 out of Nowthen, Minnesota. 4 racers, 8 laps, and I can guarantee you we're going to be having some hard-charging, fun action, even though we only have 4 racers out there.
Yeah,
they always put on a great show for us each and every week throughout the season.
Right, no, I mean 4 cars only, but I know these guys are going to put on a great show, and you think about it, there's still 1,000 horse on the tractor now.
Exactly,
11:50, I mean.
exactly.
Now we're down
Looks
to
like
three.
one of our racers, the 56 of Johnson, pulling down to the infield. Not quite sure what's going on there. Unfortunately, it looks like Johnson's night has come to a close. Bill Johnson racing a new Midget. Got a new Midget out there. Definitely
looks
not
like he
the
dropped some
start
fluids,
to it.
so it's definitely not what you want to see.
We'll work in that fluid on the track a little bit. Making sure everything is ready before we go back to green flag action. Green flag flies, 3 wide through 1 and 2. As we're down to 3 racers, but they're still going to put on a great show for us. Slight advantage that time around by the C71 of Jensrud. 55 of Bowers taking that middle line, JP3 down on the inside. As we're slowly starting to spread them out a little bit, get a little more single file. Jensrud and Bowers taking that extreme high line. Bowers now opting for the middle line there, trying to get a little up side by side with Jensrud, trying to put some action on there. Parsons, little gap back, still holding on strong in third. Battle out front for the lead though. Jensrud and Bowers 1-2. Bowers just about 2 cart lengths behind in second. Able to get side by side in the turns there, but Jensrud just able to rocket shot, slingshot his way out of the corners.
Yeah, Brian's trying some different lines, but Carter's just got that momentum built up top. But maybe he can make it work, closing in on him a little bit.
Lap by lap, it looks like he is slightly gaining. But Jensrud out front, able to hold on, take the win. Checkered flag for the C71 of Carter Jensrud. 55 of Bowers going to settle for second. JP3 in the 85. Going to round out your field for your lone Gopher Midget Racing Series heat race tonight. And just like that, we're going to move on to our B-main for the Arbox class. As Bowers gets a little push off the track there. As we clear our track from the last race, we'll give you our quick starting lineup for your first of 2 B-mains for the evening. The Arbox class, I believe, will be starting off things here in just a minute. 10 racers directly transferred to the A-main, which leaves 2 spots left to go. Up between 8 different racers. Your lineup's going to look like this. Inside row number 1, it's the 10 of Benjamin Bargender, side by side with Thatcher Nelson in the 85. Row number 2 sees the 32 of Otto Eriksson and the 20X of Axel Fahrenholtz. Row number 3, Levi Anderson in the 44 alongside the 19H of Henrik Hallerud. And in that 4th and final row, it'll be the 88E of Barrett Evans alongside Kate Knops in the 93 machine. 8 racers, 8 laps. Only the top 2 will be transferring on to the A-main later on this evening. 3 and 4. Out front, all alone, it is the 10 of Bargender leading the charge. We're going to bring them back up. That wasn't quite the start we were looking for.
Yeah, these guys
Making sure everyone is in their correct starting order before we give them the green flag. This time by, I believe. Once again, it's Bargender, Nelson, Erickson, Fahrenholtz, Anderson, Hollerud, Evans, Knops. As we come through 3 and 4, green flag is going to fly. Nelson with the hop that he needed on the outside, and he is pulling away. Bargender holding on to that final transfer spot. Just behind, though. Keep an eye on the 32 machine of Erickson. He is setting his sights on Bargender. Fahrenholtz doing the same, trying to get into the mix. Erickson on the outside. Bargender around. And that is not what Bargender is going to want to see. He's going to restart, loop it back around, and we will stay under green flag condition, I believe. I think I also saw the 20X of Fahrenholtz going around. My mistake, wasn't Fahrenholtz there. Looks like that may have been Nelson, possibly. Saw someone go around coming out of turn 2. Taking a quick look at what happened there at the front of the field for the transfer spot through 3 and 4. Bargender just a little too low, gets a little sideways from bumping and banging, and he goes around. We've got our carts now getting lined up in their correct restarting order. Want to make sure everyone is all set. Got them lined up in turn number 1. Stop them in turn 1 again. Make sure we have everyone in their correct restart order. Out front, Bargender and Erickson 1 and 2. There's Fahrenholtz sitting in 3rd. 44 of Anderson. 88E of Evans. 93 of Knops. 19H of Hollerud. And the 85 of Nelson seems to be getting the push to the back from his loop in turn number 2. Bumping and banging through 3 and 4, all chomping at the bit to take that green flag. And Bargender with the hop he needed, along with Fahrenholtz, able to duck down to the inside, take over that second and final transfer spot from the 32 of Erickson, but Erickson's going to give it their all, powering on the outside. Only our top 2 racers are going to make it into the A-main. And out front, all alone, it's Bargender leading the charge. Fahrenholtz still holding on, but just by a hair. Only 0.07 seconds gapping those two. Erickson on the outside, making it a side-by-side battle, even closer. This time by slight advantage to Erickson with a 0.07 second gap. It's nose to nose, door to door. They could reach out and shake hands. They're so close right now. Halfway through this B-main event, 3 laps left to go now. Out front, it's Bargender, but that final transfer spot is anyone's game at this point. Bargender pulling away. Fahrenholtz now taking sole possession of that second place spot. Erickson battling it out on the outside once again. White flag is out, one more lap to go for our racers, and that battle for second as now Evans trying to get in on the mix down on the inside. We might be seeing a three-kart battle for that final spot. One final time through 3 and 4. Bargender has the win. Who's got that final transfer spot? Axel Fahrenholtz going to hold on by the skin of his teeth and take that second and final transfer position. So it'll be Benjamin Bargender and Axel Fahrenholtz making their way into the A-main. Our other 6 racers put up a heck of a show tonight, but their evening is going to come to a close, unfortunately. Up next, we have our second of 2 B-mains for the evening. This time it'll be our junior wing class competitors making their way out, as we're going to give the 68 of Shadow Kitchener another chance to get off the track here. We've got them all hooked up. So we'll give you your starting lineup in the meantime for junior wing B-main. Row number 1 on the inside, it's Menominey's very own Easton Schultz piloting the 7S on the pole, alongside Randolph, Minnesota's Archer Hoffbeck in the 14. Row number 2 sees Bruce, Wisconsin's Austin Lockburner in the 20, alongside Kinsley Schmutz racing the 7D JR out of good old Menominee, Wisconsin. Row number 3, it's Joseph Bargender racing the 10 out of Marshfield, Wisconsin, and Ty Prochnow racing from River Falls, Wisconsin in the 85T. Row number 4 sees Nathan Gunderson from Chautauqua, Wisconsin in the 30. Brandon Stevens out of Oliva, Wisconsin in the 15. All alone in the 5th and final row, the 21 of Ashton Fahrenholtz holding up the rear end of the field through turns 3 and 4. And we've got one kart at a stop in turn number 4. It looks like that might be the 21 of Ashton Fahrenholtz. We'll try to get him refired there. And there we go. Or there we might be. Gonna give him the bump start, see if that works. And we're just gonna push into the infield. Fahrenholtz, unfortunately, coming to a close for his evening. So now we're down to 8 racers duking it out. 9 laps for the final 2 transfer positions in the A-main junior wing race. And there Fahrenholtz is able to get it refired. He's back out onto the track. Going to pull to the metal to try to pull up to the rear of the field in time for the start. Makes his way up there. We're tight and ready to go. I believe we're going green this time around. Through 3 and 4. Green flag flies. And it's Hoffbeck and Schultz out front. Hoffbeck goes way high through 1 and 2, gives Schultz sole position of the lead. He ducks back down low, almost bumps and bangs, sliding out. It is Schultz, Hoffbeck, your top 2 in the transfer positions. The 21 of Austin Lockburner right behind, and we have the 85T of Prochnow going around into turn number, or coming out of turn number 2. We're going to avoid the caution though, as it's Schultz and Hoffbeck out front alone. Lockburner, Bargender making a move there up into 4th ahead of Schmutz. Out front all alone though, it is the 7S machine of Easton Schultz leading the charge, showing these racers how it's done and pulling away. Archer Hoffbeck in that final transfer position with a little bit of a cushion. Wouldn't go as far as to say you can sit back and relax. As we've got the caution coming out now. We'll realign them up. As we're just about halfway through our junior wing B-main. Single file restart will be going on. It's Schultz, Hoffbeck, Lockburner, Bargender, Schmutz. Your top 5. Then we have the 30 of Gunderson. The 85T of Prochnow right behind. As we now tighten it up. Green flag this time by. Through 3 and 4. Not quite gonna start things off just yet. Need to get Fahrenholtz up there in that 6th place spot.
As we're getting lined up here, just gotta say it's great to see B-mains, you know, on local racing on Wednesday nights. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've been very lucky all season long through these Wednesday night shows. Arbox and Junior Wing have pretty consistently been having B-mains, lots of racers showing up. Green flag flies. And Hoffbeck, with the jump he needed, is going to be your new B-main race leader, bumping and banging throughout the back of the field. But it's Hoffbeck and Schultz 1 and 2. Lockburner setting his sights in 3rd, along with the 10 of Bargender, as they're trying to make moves up, see if they might be able to battle for that 2nd and final transfer position. Right now, Hoffbeck and Schultz have it. Lockburner and Bargender won it. 3 and 4, 2 laps left to go for Hoffbeck and Schultz in 1 and 2. White flag flying. One final lap of consistency from our racers. As we come up on the rear of the field, we'll see if this plays into it in this final lap. Through 3 and 4, checkered flag is gonna fly. Archer Hoffbeck's gonna take the B-main win. And it's the 7S of Easton Schultz taking that final transfer position into the A-main. Lockburner, Bargender, Fahrenholtz, Schmutz, and Co. will have their night come to a close, but happy to have them out for the day in this B-main. Now, like Jesse was saying earlier on, Wednesday nights, it can be hard for people to get out onto the track, you know, work week, school week, but we've been very lucky all season long to have some consistently big classes in both the Arbox and Junior Wing classes, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly confident in saying that every week this year we've had a B-main in, if not both Arbox and Junior Wing, then at least one of the classes. So we've been having some great turnouts, not just from the racers, but you can see a live stream shot of the crowd right now here, making their way out for Thunder Hill Speedway Alumni Night. Happy to have everyone in the stands make their way out on this beautiful Wednesday heat, some amazing weather. Always a great night at the track, but it's even better when we have these beautiful skies. And now we'll move into our final race of the first of this program as our rookie cage competitors make their way out onto the track and start their green flag racing action. Your lineup's looking like this. The 60 JR of Mila Baker, Jack Smith are in the mix. We have the 0 of Aria Johnson, Pat Riedrich, 22 of Theo LeBlanc, Julian Logslet racing the 13, and Sam Pettit behind the wheel of the 5S. 7 racers in our rookie cage class. As we've got the green flag, 9 laps left to go in this 10-lap main event for our rookie cage class. You know, like we were saying over in the heat races, this is definitely a learning class for these racers, so we do things a little differently. We just send them out with the green flag, let them have some fun. Learn what it's like to race. Well, we have our racers out there want to take a quick moment to thank a few of our stream sponsors we have along for the ride tonight and this season. Kevco, Kaiser Racing Wheels, Foot and Ankle Clinic, all along helping us bring you some live streaming coverage of the 2025 QualityFreightRate.com Storm Series here at Thunderhill Speedway. In addition to Schaefer's Oil, River's Edge, Apple River Campground, Butler Built Professional Racing Seats, and QualityFreightRate.com, all along for the ride year-round. As a reminder, send this link out to your friends and family who may not have been able to make it to this beautiful 6th mile on this great evening in Menominee, Wisconsin. Wide racing action through 3 and 4 in our rookie cage class, as we've got our racers out there learning what it's like to put side-by-side into the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it might not
I
be.
believe that's the
legit race
13
with
of
the
Lodglet,
green
the
light
16 of Smith.
There's definitely some overtaking happening.
You can say that again. One of our racers coming to a stop on the front straightaway there. Track crew on the scene, making sure everything is all good to go.
Well, like you mentioned, though, with those 2 classes that had to be amazing junior wings and the Arbox, shout out to all the parents, and everybody behind the scenes. Getting that many cars in these classes, is a great thing. Mr. Heath earlier in the night, chatting with people up in the stands and that, but the B features for any indication looks like that's an ultra competitive class.
Three laps left to go in our rookie cage class, as we have 3 battling up front. 13 of Lodglet, 60 JR of Baker, the 22 of LeBlanc battling it out. There we have the 0 of Johnson putting in another lap as well, alongside the 3 of Friedrich. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go for our rookie cage class. And just like that, with a caution in turn 3 and 4, we're going to get the yellow checkered. But all of our racers are able to make it across the line. They'll take their cool down lap. And another thing we do a little differently in this class is we are going to send all 7 of our competitors into the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane tonight so they can get a taste of the glory that is a race win. We're happy to have these racers out there to learn what it's like to race a go-kart. And so we want them to experience what it's like in victory lane as well. We'll give our racers a chance to climb out of their carts, take off their helmets, and make their way into the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane.
Yeah, I've never experienced this before. This is quite a neat little deal for these guys and gals.
There we see our first couple of racers making their way up. I believe I'm counting 5 of our 7 racers have made their way to victory lane. As our final 2 make their way up, once again, there we are, our rookie cage class for the night. Give it up for the 60 JR of Mila Baker, the 16 of Jack Smith, 3 of Paxton Friedrich, 0 of Aria Johnson, the 22 of Theo LeBlond, 13 of Julian Logslet, and the 5S of Sam Pettit. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give our youngsters their time for glory in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane. And for those of you in the grandstands, we're going to take a brief intermission here. Feel free to get up, stretch your legs, run to the restroom, grab some food or beverages from the concession stand. And we will be back momentarily. For those of you live streaming on MBTVsports.com, feel free to do the same. We will be back in just a few minutes, not for some green flag racing action, but we'll chat with Jesse Glenz here a little bit during our intermission here, see how things are going with him, and we will be back in just a few minutes after a few words from our sponsors.
Yeah, Butler Built has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like, there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day. So as me as a sprint car driver specifically, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different. And guys like us, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats. And I felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seat. So yeah, it's been a fun ride and hope to continue the relationship for a long time.
When you push your engine to the limit, on the track, the farm, or the highway, only one name delivers unmatched protection. Schaefer's specialized lubricants. With over 180 years of proven performance, professionals don't guess. They trust Schaefer's. And in our region, there's one guy who makes it happen. William Denzer. Racers, farmers, fleets. They all call William because he's reliable, knowledgeable, and gets results. So support the brands and people who support racing. Call William today, 651-253-0999, or email denzer.schaefer.sales@gmail.com. Schaefer's, trusted since 1839. Power in every drop.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified
All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Zach stepped away for a minute. So I'm just winging it here, but never want to see a caution, but it's going to help me out because I don't know any of the names or what class this is even right now, but there's a lot of them out there. We had a little pile up right away, so we'll get them lined back up and go again. Just taking a look at the car designs here from the camera. I see that 34. That looks like a Langer design. I'm just going to go off on a limb, assume it's a relation. Got a lot of really good looking parts out there, a lot of color. As Kyle in the front strip getting them lined up. He's doing a great job. All right, there's our lineup. We got Oakley Booth on pole, Bentley Larson outside, Lane Baker, number 60 in third, Luke Pettit outside row 2, Henry Junker inside 3, Brantley Langer outside row 3. I did get that one right. Sullivan Thill starting 7th, Dirks LeBlanc starting 8th, Palmer Haas starting 9th, and Harper Halupka in 10th. And on the last row, we got Benjamin Bargender and Axel Fahrenholtz to round out our field for 12 laps here in the Arbox.
12 laps, 12 racers, and we'll be having some great side-by-side action throughout the field here.
I was just trying to channel my inner Dan Bailey there, Zach.
Me every time I'm announcing, I totally that. Looks like we've just about got our correct starting lineup there on the front straightaway. Checking in on the 10 of Benjamin Bargender. Able to get him refired. Sending everyone else off. Through 3 and 4. Green flag gonna fly. Booth and Larson setting the pace through 1 and 2. Bumping and banging throughout. The 4 of Pettit getting into the mix, moving around as we've come back to a caution. Gonna slow them down once again. Arbox racers a little antsy to get back on the track here under racing conditions. Just want to make sure we get a good enough start for them. So it looks like we will be opting for a single file restart here. Booth, Larson, Baker, Pettit, Junker, Langer, Phil, LeBlond, Haas, Halapka, Bargender, Fahrenholtz, I believe, will be the starting lineup. And just like that, the lineup should be good. We send them onto the back straight, through 3 and 4. And the green flag flies with a great jump by the 16 of Oakley Booth. Bumping and banging in through the top end of the field. Larson getting pushed to the middle of the pack. We have one of our racers, LeBlond, going around in 4. Don't believe it's going to draw the caution, so we'll stay under green. Booth, Baker, Pettit, Junker, and Larson, your top 5 as it currently stands. Booth with almost a full second gap over the 60 machine of Lane Baker. Ahead of a 2-cart battle for 3rd and 4th between Pettit and Junker. And right as I say it, Pettit and Junker get into each other through 1 and 2, and that is going to end up drawing the caution. We had a nice little pack out front there. Our top 4 racers, a little gap back to 5th on back, who are all in a cluster for position throughout the rest of the field. So now we'll get them re-racked and restacked once again. Booth in the 16 will be out front alone. And it's the 60 of Baker. Looks like we will be going with the 1 of Larson, the 34 of Langer, and the rest of the field in tow. Now, this is one of those classes that we're definitely going to want to keep an eye on a few of our racers, as we currently have a tie at the top of the championship between the 36 of Junker and the 16 of Booth. And as it currently stands, Booth has a chance to pull decently ahead in that championship battle. Booth out front all alone, Baker right behind, holding Booth on. We'll see if we might be able to see any changes up at the front of the field. A little gap before we get back to the 21 of Haas, then another little gap before we get back to a three-wide battle in the middle of the field. Henry Junker, one of your other championship contenders, making it up through to that caution early on. Out front all alone, it's still Booth and Baker 1 and 2. Haas in the 21. And then we have a 4-cart battle for 4th on back. This time around, it's the 20X of Fahrenholtz moving up into 4th. Junker in his tail in 5th, looks down low. Through 3 and 4, bumping and banging, contact. Junker's able to hold on, though. Junker now up to 4th place. Fahrenholtz going to shuffle back to 6th, which brings Halapka up to that 5th place spot. 4 laps left to go, though, and it might not be enough time for Junker to make up the lost ground, as Booth is out front and pulling away. Even Baker isn't able to hold on to Oakley anymore, as we now have a near second gap in between our top 2 racers. Haas with about a full straightaway gap between 1st and 2nd, as Junker is able to pass by and move up to 3rd. But we have a caution in turn number 4. Looks like that's the 20X of Fahrenholtz and the 1 of Larson getting into each other. Both racers back up and riding. Fahrenholtz has been restarted. He's going to retake his spot. And this will make things extremely interesting. Not sure if Junker's pass on Haas will hold in this restart. I don't believe so, but still, this gives Junker the chance that he needs to get up pretty close. For sure, out front, it will be the 16 of Oakley Booth and the 60 of Baker. And it looks like we are throwing Junker there in 3rd. And I believe that's the 23 of Halapka, 4th. 21 of Haas, now in 5th. Track crew, just making sure that everyone restarts in their correct spots. There were quite a bit of moving around there during those last couple laps there. We had a full 5-cart gap there going on, where everyone was moving all around. There we go, some movement. It looks like Haas being pushed back. So out front, our 2 championship leaders right now, tied with 382 points each, Henry Junker and Oakley Booth. Booth starting off in the lead. Then we have the 1 of Bentley, or not the 60 of Lane Baker, splitting the difference between them. Junker sitting in 3rd. With 4 laps left to go. We're 2/3 of our way through this race. We're going to come to a stop once again. And it does look like the 21 machine of Palmer Haas is going to get his spot back. Now it's Booth, Baker, Haas, Junker. Both Booth and Junker have 2 wins on the season. Whoever takes the win tonight not only is going to take over the championship, but is also going to be a leg up going into the next race 2 weeks from now. Haas tries to take the high line, drifts back slightly. It's now Booth and Baker up front, a little space back to the 36 of Junker. Then the 23 of Halapka. Then the 21 of Haas. The 4 of Pettit the third, or the 4 of Pettit moving up into that 5th place spot. As Junker makes the move for second, it's now a battle for the lead. Side by side, battle for the championship points. Junker able to make the pass, move up to the top spot. Booth battling back down on the inside. Booth now back up to the lead. 2 laps left to go. White flag is out. 1 final lap to see who takes the win this evening. Junker up to the lead once again onto the back straightaway. 2 turns separate our championship leaders. Junker goes high, Booth goes low. Junker able to hold on though and takes the checkered flag. Henry Junker is a feature race winner this evening in the 36, and he is now the sole holder of the championship points going into our race 2 weeks from now. Oakley Booth going to settle for a devastating 2nd place after leading the entirety of the race. The rest of the field in tow, but as he climbs his way out of his cart and into the Timber Inn Bar and Grill victory lane here at Thunder Hill Speedway, we'll give him a moment to take off his helmet, climb out of his cart, and let's hear it for your feature race winner and the new sole leader in your Arbox championship. Give it up for the 36 of Henry Junker. We'll give Henry his well-deserved time in victory lane to celebrate as we get ready for our next feature of the evening, our junior wing class. "12 racers about to hit the track. Your line is going to end up like this. We have the 99 of current points champion Glopka on the pole, side by side with the 18T of Trick Swan. Row number 2 is going to see the 1S of Dylan Subert out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, side by side with Jonathan Pettit III racing the 3J machine. Row number 3 has the 15JR of Luke Patterson, side by side with the 8 of Trempealeau, Wisconsin's Alan Byrne. Row number 4 out of Indianola, Iowa sees the 60 of Marshall Dawson and Menominee's very own Grant Keller racing the 31. Row number 5, it's Kane Buss out of Boyceville, Wisconsin in the 88, and the 19 of Owatonna, Minnesota's Jacob Demmel. And in the 6th and final row, racing the 14 machine out of Randolph, Minnesota, it's Archer Hoffbeck and the 7S of Easton Schultz, also out of Menominee, Wisconsin. "12 racers for 12 laps in the junior wing class. Green flag is out. Alapka and Swan going to lead the charge into 1 and 2. Bumping and banging throughout the middle of the field as we've got a 3-wide battle through 3 and 4. All sorts of moving around. as we've got one racer donutting up in 1 and 2. Looks like that's the 7S machine of Easton Schultz. Easton was one of your racers who made their way through the B-main earlier on this evening. We're going to get him refired. Looks like good to go, back under power before we get back team flag racing conditions. Don't believe we got a full lap in the books there, so I do think it is going to end up being a full restart here, which means your lineup will be Halapka, Swan, Subert, Pettit III, Patterson, Byrne, Dawson, Keller, plus Demmel, Hoffbeck, Schultz. As we move into turns 3 and 4. Green flag is gonna fly. This time, Halapka has the start that he needs to pull away from the rest of the field. Swan moves back to second. Pettit the third holds on to a solid third place. Looking on each side of Swan, trying to make a move. Every second that passes, though, Halapka pulls further and further away from the rest of the field. Pettit able to get by, move up to sole possession of second. Swan now battling with Subert. Subert up to third. Swan back to fourth. Out front, though, he's won every race this year in this class, or every main event in this class, and it looks like he's about to do the same tonight, as he has already put a 1.5 second gap in between him and that battle for second on back in only 3 laps. Halapka pulling away. The battle now looks to be for second on back. It's currently Pettit the third. Subert, a little gap before we get back to the AT&T and Swan, and the 8 of Byrne. We have a little bumping and banging there in the midfield, but we are going to stay under green flag conditions. Halapka, Pettit, Subert, Swan, Byrne. Byrne having company on the outside, though, from the 31 of Keller. Keller trying to make his way into the top 5. Side by side across the line, slight advantage to Keller that time around. The 19 of Demmel also trying to get into the mix. Demmel didn't have the greatest start here. He's currently sitting second in the points championship for the season, but he's got a lot of movement to make through the field if he wants to gain some traction on those points. Out front all alone, though, a full 2.5 gap between your race leader, Bentley Halapka, and the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III. 4-cart battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th between Swan, Keller, Byrne, and Demmel. As Demmel sneaks up by, able to get by Byrne. Byrne battles back, though. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go. One final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is going to fly for your 5-time feature race winner. Bentley Halapka taking the win yet again in the junior wing class. Jonathan Pettit III going to finish second. Dylan Subert, the 1S, going to round out your podium. Keller and Byrne going to make up your top 5. But there can only be one pulling in to the JK Concrete victory lane here at Thunder Hill Speedway. We've seen him 4 other times this year, and he's taken the clean sweep on the season so far as he climbs on out of his cart. Let's hear it for your feature race winner out of Wheeler, Wisconsin, Bentley Halapka. He's still taking his gear off there, getting comfortable in victory lane. But once again, let's hear it for your feature race winner, Bentley Halapka in the 99, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give Bentley his moment to shine in victory lane as we start to get things all prepped and ready to go for our next feature race coming out, our intermediate wing class. Bentley makes his way off the track, your starting lineup for intermediate wing is going to end up looking like this. 7 racers about to hit the track for 12 laps. Row number 1 pole sitter is going to be the 8X of Alan Byrne, side by side with Thorpe, Wisconsin's Colin Haas in the 17. Row number 2, we have the 44 of Reese Smith out of Stanley, Wisconsin, alongside Dylan Subert piloting the 1S from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Row number 3 sees Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Xander Glumsky in the 27, along with Jonathan Pettit III racing the 3J out of Winona, Minnesota. And all alone in that 4th and final row out of Colfax, Wisconsin, it's the 8 machine of Kennedy Cluckus. Once again, that is 7 racers. And it looks like we may have possibly had a slight alteration in the order as I see one of our micro sprints out there right now.
Yeah, I think we got a midget out there right there, Zach.
Yes, my apologies. We got our midget out there.
I think that was the one that dropped the fluid earlier. So it looks like they got her fixed up, and hopefully we'll see him in a little bit in the main.
Love to see him back at it, back in the car.
Attention to the pit, intermediate wing to staging. Very short intermission here, very short. Get your carts to staging, please.
Sounds like we're gonna have a short intermission right now. I just heard intermediate wings to staging.
Thank you for that, Jesse. One of the slight things about announcing things from home here, can't quite hear all of the announcements, so apologies on that end. But yes, as Jesse said, we will be taking a slight intermission here. Getting things all ready for the intermediate wing class.
Welcome everybody. My name is Bill Sleep from Rolling Thunder Dirt Legends. Right now we're gonna present our last Legend of the Night from the last Storm Series to Mark Brewer. And then also Mark drew a number here. We're gonna bring down a junior legend. So all you kids should have a ticket number. And Mark drew number 407. So if you have 407, if you want to go down by the concession stand, we have somebody down there. You can come down here, get your picture taken. We can get you your prize. In the meantime, Mark, being the legend of the night, got anybody to thank?
You know, I asked him what he was going to do. Are you going to hold the mic? Are you going to give me the mic? He says he's going to club me with it. So yeah, couple people to thank. Kind Hand Tattoo, they've been with me for 2 years now, and we've already secured next year's partnership. Austin and the fellas there at the tattoo shop, if you look at my arm, they do some awesome work. If you're interested, give them a shout. Benji and the crew at Southside Bike and Body, you can't tell it now, but they did a fantastic job painting this car for me in a real crunch back in March. So huge shout out to them, and I need to go talk to Benji and make sure that he's going to paint it for me again next year. And maybe it won't look quite so beat up at the end of the year. I think that's my fault. And the other thing, I got to give a shout out. The Alumni Night is really cool. And I got to say, Jesse's kind of a friend of mine. I met him when I first moved to Wisconsin. I want to thank him for bringing his car out. It's always kind of cool to see the big cars out here. I also want to give his #1 fan. I'm not sure where she's at up there, but I know Chris is up there, so wanted to say hi to Chris because, well, it wouldn't be at the races if I wasn't giving her the business. And one last person to thank, I got to thank Catherine and Piper, who I'm hoping are watching on MBTV at home. So, Piper.
All right, as part of the award here, Mark gets a $75 gift certificate to Legends.Direct, the largest Legends dealer in the nation, and then also a Legend of the Night plaque. So congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Big shout out to Legends.Direct for their sponsorship of this also, and also Sleep Racing. You can check us out on YouTube. And Brewer Racing also. And Levi over here.
He's my idea man.
Attention in the pits. Intermediate wing, you should be in staging. Intermediates, you should be in staging now.
Our winner is Everly. Congratulations, Everly. Mark. Yay. Thank you, Everly. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your support. MBTV, Thunderhill, awesome job out here. Thank you all.
Well, we take a quick moment to make sure everything's all set and ready to go for our intermediate wing class. We're going to take a quick intermission here, word from a few of our sponsors, and we will be back momentarily to both chat with Jesse Glenz up here in the booth, as well as get ready for our intermediate wing class. So we will be back in just a second.
Yeah, Butler Build has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like, there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day. So as me as a sprint car driver specifically, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different. And guys like us, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats, and felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seat. So yeah, it's been a fun ride, and hope to continue the relationship for a long time.
When you push your engine to the limit, on the track, the farm, or the highway, only one name delivers unmatched protection. Schaefer's specialized lubricants. With over 180 years of proven performance, professionals don't guess. They trust Schaefer's. And in our region, there's one guy who makes it happen. William Denzer. Racers, farmers, fleets. They all call William because he's reliable, knowledgeable, and gets results. So support the brands and people who support racing. Call William today, 651-253-0999, or email denzer.schaefer.sales@gmail.com. Schaefer's, trusted since 1839. Power in every drop.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellersells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
When you've got to ship it from anywhere to anywhere,
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
Ready to make a splash this summer? Grab your friends and head to River's Edge on the scenic Apple River. Whether you're looking to float the day away, camp under the stars, or catch live music and weekend events, River's Edge has everything you need for an unforgettable time. Book your tube, campsite, or party package now. River's Edge on the Apple River. Your summer starts here.
And just like that, we are back and ready to go. For our intermediate wing class, we've got our racers lined up coming out of turn number 3. Just about had a green flag there, but not quite. Once again, our lineup's looking like this. The 8X of Byrne and the 17 of Haas out front. Row number 2, it's the 44 of Smith and the 1S of Subert. Row 3 sees Glumsky in the 27 and Pettit the 3rd in the 3J. All alone in that 4th and final row, it's the 8 of Cluckus. Let's see if this time around we'll get that green flag through 3 and 4. There's that green flag, and away we go. Byrne and Haas out front all alone. Byrne with the slight advantage. Haas back to sole position a second. Smith battling on the inside, trying to make a move. Not quite able to get up past the 17 of Haas. It's Byrne, Haas, Smith, Subert, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 3J of Pettit the 3rd right behind in 5th. It may be single file throughout the field, but our top 5 competitors all within just a second of each other. As Byrne slowly but surely widens that gap between him and that second place battle between Haas and Smith. Smith goes to the inside, able to make a move, slides high. Smith now holding on to second place. Haas going to battle back though, tucks down low, tries to get up side by side, hits the berm, doesn't quite make it happen there.
Yeah, that's exactly what Burns wanted to see, is a second and third place battling, allowing him to stretch it out.
Exactly, Byrne now with a second and 1.2 second gap between him and that battle for second and third. Smith now able to set his sights on Byrne, try to draw him in a little bit. He's doing so far, but we're 2/3 of the way with this race. Not quite sure if there will be enough time for Smith to climb on it.
Yeah, it looks like last lap he took a 10th off, and then this one lost a half a 10th back. So they're about staying even. Let's see what that is at the line this time. Took another 10th off, so see if you can close that ground.
Two equal racers out on the track, both with open tracks ahead of them. Working in Byrne's favor right now as we're coming up to the white flag. One more lap to go for Alan Byrne in the 8X. He's going to move his way onto the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. The checkered flag is all his. Alan Byrne is a feature race winner in the 8X machine tonight. Smith going to finish second in the 44. The 17 of Haas rounding out your podium. Then it's the 1S of Subert and the 3J of Pettit the third, rounding out your top 5 racers. But there can only be one pulling in to the T&K Fireworks LLC victory lane here tonight at Thunder Hill Speedway.
Got a couple little donuts there. Got a very excited winner. That's awesome. You can see him pounding on the steering wheel, the excitement down the backstretch after taking the checkered.
Love to see the excitement in their faces, making their moves throughout the field. Always great to see with these youngsters out on the track. And as he pulls into the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane, a moment for him to climb his way out of his cart, take off his helmet, and as he does so, let's hear it up for your feature race winner, the 8X of Alan Byrne! He'll celebrate with his family in victory lane. And as he has his moment there, taking pictures, having the time of his life, we will get all set and ready for our next main event of the evening, the Sportsman class. We had some nice action going on there during the heat. We're looking to do the same during the feature. 6 racers. Row number 1 is going to look like this. On the inside, sitting pole, it's Rice Lake, Wisconsin, Steven Savalls in the 191. Side by side with the 74 of Eau Claire's Jake Johnson. Row number 2 is going to be the Velchek row. We have the 55 of Trayton from Rock Falls on the inside, the 555 of Matt from Hudson on the outside. And then row number 3, we have the 88 of Rock Falls, Ashton Henchen side by side with the 76 of Josh Fuster out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. 6 racers, 12 laps for what will surely be an exciting Sportsman main event here. Racers tight and ready to go, making their way into turn number 3. Coming out of turn 4, green flag is gonna fly. Gonna lead the charge into 1 and 2, the 55 of Trayton Velchek, ducking down to the inside, Johnson side by the outside. Slight advantage though is going to go to Savalls as he leads lap 1. Trayton Velchek looks down low. Johnson tries to make a move for second, not going. Through 3 and 4, we almost had 3 wide. Johnson bumps and bangs to the inside, muscles his way up to the lead. Johnson's your new race leader. Savalls isn't going to go without a challenge, though. He battles back down low. He takes over the lead yet again. Johnson fights back on the outside. As we have 1 card around in turn 4, that's going to draw the caution. Looks like that was the 88 of Henchen, spinning it around in turn number 4. And boy, oh boy, you know, we may only be 2 laps in, but we have already had some pretty solid battles. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, we only got 6 guys out there, but 12 laps goes fast with them. Flat carts, but they're fast.
And they always put on a great show out there. No matter how many of them they are, we're always guaranteed some solid racing action. Steven Savalls, your current race leader, also leading the points championship battle right now. Just a mere 7 points ahead of the 55 of Trayton Velchek. So we'll see how things will shake up here at the end, or if Savalls will be able to grow his gap. We are going to be going with a Delaware double file restart here for our Sportsman, so it'll be Savalls out front all alone. Johnson on the inside of that side-by-side with the 555 of Matt Velchek. The second full row sees the 55 of Trayton Velchek and the 88 of Henchen, the 76 of Fuster all alone in the rear. As the green flag flies, Johnson able to duck down low to the inside. Johnson, your new race leader. Savalls battles back through 1 and 2. Side by side on the back stretch. It's a drag race into the corner. Savalls with the inside has the slight advantage. Johnson tucks back down. Now we've got Belchek to the inside. Belchek up to second. Able to make the move on Savalls. Setting his sights on Johnson. Stevens Savalls goes way out to the outside, drops to the back of the field, 3 wide onto the front straightaway in that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Savalls holding on to 3rd. But now we have Henshin and Belchek moving up. Up at the front, though, Johnson and Belchek battling side by side for the lead. They're dapping on the rest of the field there. It's Johnson, Trayton Belchek, Henshin, Savalls, Matt Belchek, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we might see a change in the championship order if we sit like this. Trayton Belchek in the 55 battles on the inside. Johnson able to hold on to the lead, though, as we're now officially halfway through this Sportsman flat cart feature race. And like we said, we guaranteed you some nice racing action, and boy oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, are you getting it. The 74 Johnson holds the lead. Trayton Belchek in the 55. Just 0.17 seconds behind in second. We have a little bit of a gap before we get back to the 88 of Henshin, the 191 of Savalls, and the 555 of Matt Belchek. But we're single file throughout the field.
Yeah, Johnson had a great restart there. Get the lead coming into 1, but Belchek ain't letting him pull away. He's all over him. Just hoping for a mistake.
We've seen this a couple times this season. The second place racer biding their time in this class, opting for a last lap passes. Now we have one looping it around on the backstretch. The 191 of Savalls, definitely not what Savalls wants to see. Or, you know, maybe it is. This will tighten up a little bit. He was sitting at about 2.5 seconds behind, and now, even though he will be restarting at the rear of the field, he'll at least be able to tighten up that gap a little bit and hopefully gain some ground on the competitors that had started to inch their way ahead of him. But we will get things restarted here. I believe the restart order will sit as stands. The 74 of Johnson, 55 of Belchek.
Yeah, taking a look at the replay here, looks like Savalls went out, got the curb, and then just got a little help coming out of the corner. See if Johnson from the pole now in this restart can have as a successful restart as his last time to take lead.
He's definitely going to need it with how tight this pack is right now through 3 and 4 single file restart. Green flag's gonna fly. Belchek tucks down low. Johnson able to hold on to the lead into 1 and 2 though. Henshin now sitting in 3rd as we've got movement in the rear of the field there. 2 laps left to go. It's Johnson, Belchek, Henshin, Belchek, Savalls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up to the white flag. The battle is for the lead. We'll see if we might have a last lap dash. 4th position. Onto the back straightaway. Johnson leads Belchek through 3 and 4. Nothing going. And Johnson's going to hold on for the win. Jake Johnson, your feature race winner tonight. The 55 of Trayton Belchek going to settle for 2nd. Then it's the 88 of Ashton Henshin rounding out your podium. 555 of Matt Belchek and the 191 of Steven Savalls going to round out your top 5. And with that, we are going to end up having a new championship leader moving into next race's double points night. But in the meantime, he's moving his way out of the cart. Gloves are off. Helmet's next. Give it up for your feature race winner, the 74 of Jake Johnson out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Looks like he's got Fast Freddy's on the side of the car, but you got Fast Jake in the car.
Exactly. He was putting on a heck of a show there.
I like to see that still having the old pull starter on it.
As Johnson moves his way on out of the Thunderhill Speedway Victory Lane. We'll move into your starting lineup for your next feature race, your 125 to 50 win class. Starting on the inside of row number 1, we have the 6D of Riley Dawson side by side with the 30 of Tyler Alton out of New Richmond, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2, it's the 99 of Bentley Halapka from Wheeler alongside the 2 of Jackson Helland out of Cladat, Wisconsin. Inside row number 3, it's your current tied for the championship points lead, the 22 of Davin Hawk with the 8 of Brody Conkey out of Elk Mountain, Wisconsin. Row number 4 is the 99 JR Fry from Chippewa Falls, and the 13 East Wisconsin's Nick Moulter. Row 5 sees the UFO 2 of Holden Harder from Madison, and Audrey Traceth piloting the 2A out of Birchwood, Wisconsin. And inside that 6th and final row, it's the 66B of Blake to Smith and the 29 of Caleb Kropp. 12 racers, 12 laps for your 125 to 50 win class, where we have yet another exciting advancement on the championship points series. We currently have another tie. Both racers have 2 race wins on the evening. It's the 2 race wins on the season. It's the 22 of Davin Hawk and the 60 of pole sitter Riley Dawson. We're currently locked in a championship battle, both with 390 points, 2 wins respectively. So at the end of the night, no matter what, we will have a new sole championship leader going into August 27th's double points. Pitch perfect time for a quick reminder. We will be back here again 2 weeks from tonight for our final Wednesday night show of the year, double points night. You know, we have a lot of close championship battles tonight, but next race, everything will be blown out of the water potentially as we get to that double points night. But for tonight, Dawson Alton on the lead through 3 and 4. Put another lap in the books. Halapka and Helland in row 2. Hawk Conkey row 3. Supry and Moulter row 4. Harder Traceth in row 5. And DeSmith Kropp rounding out your 6th row, 12 carved field. As we're about to go 12 blazing laps around this 6th mile track. A couple of them getting out of line there. Make our way onto the back straightaway, and it looks like that start will be good. And I spoke too soon, I see the caution lights out now. Not quite the start we wanted. Looks like
like number 8
may have gotten caught.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they touched wheels there and that caused them to jump out of line right before they threw the green, but Flagman definitely wasn't liking that, so we'll try it again.
Exactly, we'll re-rack and re-stack. That one, yeah, just from this angle, you know, looked like a regular racing incident there. You know, nothing too out of line, but want to make sure we have a correct start on the night here, so we will get them back in their starting orders. Dawson Alton, Halapka Helland, Hawk Conkey, Supry Moulter, Harder, Traceth, DeSmith, Kropp. And I believe this time around, we will be giving them the green flag. We'll tighten it up on the backstretch. Through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. And that was a little bit better start for our team there as Dawson and Alton lead the charge through 1 and 2. Onto the front straightaway, Dawson pulling away from the rest of the field, just like we saw in the heat race. Alton sitting in second. Halapka now able to make his way up to 3rd place. Conkey battling back, Moulter in the mix as well. Out front all alone though, with already a 2-second gap on 2nd place. Riley Dawson putting on a heck of a show tonight.
Yeah, Dawson getting into lap traffic already, only a couple laps into the race, stretching his lead out to over 2 seconds. We'll see if the traffic slows him down at all or he can maneuver around him easy.
He's able to snake his way through pretty well. Gets a little caught up there on a couple racers, able to tuck down to the inside, but he's still got a decent gap on the 30 of Alton. But with 4 laps left to go, this might be exactly what Alton needed if he isn't getting stuck in that lap traffic as well. He's shaving down his gap, but not by much. With only 3 laps left, it's still Dawson, Alton, Conkey, Halapka, Hout, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he lost about a second when he got to the lappers. But once he got by him, Alton had the same thing, and he lost a second back to him.
White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for our racers. And from flag to flag, it looks like our feature race winner coming onto the front straightaway, checkers flying. The 60 of Riley Dawson is your feature race winner and official championship leader in the 125-250 wing class. The 30 of Alton is going to finish second. The 8 of Conkey rounding out your podium. That'll be the 22 of Hawk and the 99 of Halapka rounding out your top 5. But the lone winner out there tonight will roll his way into the Timber Inn Bar and Grill Victory Lane here at Thunder Hill Speedway. He'll remove his helmet, jump on out of his cart, and we'll give him a moment to celebrate in Victory Lane. Let's hear it, though, for your feature race winner out of Indianola, Iowa, checkered flag for the 6D of Riley Dawson. I hear some nice yells from the fan club there. And as he takes his time with his family celebrating in Victory Lane, we'll give him the moment he well deserves, as he is now the sole championship leader in the 125-250 wing class. Up next, while Riley celebrates his time in Victory Lane, we'll give you your starting lineup for the next feature of the evening, our K&K Racing Micro Sprints class. Now, as a reminder, we have 18 racers who will be making the call in the K&K Racing Micro Sprints class tonight. And though there can only be one winner, we are doing something a little special in these last 3 races of the evening, thanks to our 3 title sponsors for the night. That is JK Concrete out of Menominee, Wisconsin, Timber Inn Bar and Grill from Downsville, Wisconsin, and T&K Fireworks LLC. They're all going into the mix here to help supply a luck of the draw drawing in Victory Lane after each race, where one random finisher, in this case it'll be a number 1 through 18, is picked to win a special $200 winning, going to whatever finishing position is drawn at the end of the race. So we do have a little extra money going on in this class as well this evening. Starting lineup, we have it up on the screen for those live streaming tonight, but it's going to look like this. Sitting on the pole out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, it's the 88 of Caleb Moen side by side with Landon Davis in the 37 out of New Richmond, Wisconsin. Row 2 sees the C71 of Carter Jensrud out of River Falls, and the 26P of Jackson Peters from Waupun, Wisconsin. Row number 3 is Mora, Minnesota's Landry Singleton in the 19L, and the 128 of Becker's Marshall Willing. Row number 4, it's Jackson Jiragi in the 46G out of Ellsworth, and St. Cloud, Minnesota's Owen Henricks in the 10. Row number 5, it's the 22 of Brennan Newville racing out of Clear Lake, and Riley Dawson, fresh off his feature race win in the 125-250 wing class in the 13V. Row number 6, it's the 28 of Trempelo's Mason Hale and the 3J of Brandon Friedrich out of Hudson, Wisconsin. Row 7 sees the 99 of Welch's Mason Subert and Trempelo's Maddie Hale in the 28X. We also have the 23 of Keegan Koss out of Potosi, Wisconsin, racing the 23 alongside the 27C of Jeff Friedrich. And in that 9th and final row, it's the 100 of Alyssa Eddy and Brian Link racing the 628.
Yeah, just real quick
racers.
there. I think we had Zach Frederick on the inside of 9. Just missed one guy. Jeff Friedrich, my bad. Alyssa Eddy on the outside of row 9 and Brian Link in the inside of row 10.
Great racing action will be coming at us momentarily as our K&K Racing micro sprints are about to make their way out onto the track. Another quick reminder, we've said it a few times tonight, but we just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who came out for tonight's Alumni Night, especially Jesse Glenz, who you've been hearing in the booth with me this evening, giving some color commentating. Thank you, Jesse, for stopping on out here. We know you have a packed schedule throughout the summer, but we're happy to have you back as a sort of homecoming here, back at your old home track here in Thunder Hills Speedway. Well, we have a moment before our racers come out. Anything else you want to chat about this evening? You know, what the rest of your season looking like? You know, how this season has gone so far?
No, that's all good. We got them pulling on the track already. I'm really excited to see this many cars on a track like this, and I'm not going to know where to watch.
If anything, I think that's the best thing about this class. So many racers out there, all equally great racers. No matter where you're looking on the track, you are guaranteed to see some great side-by-side action. Whether it be a race for first and second or a race for 17th and 18th, there's going to be some great duels all throughout the field there. Give them a chance to run in the racing surface a little bit after that light track prep we just completed. And in the meantime, I'm going to give a shout out to a few more of our sponsors. Culver's of Menominee, Wisconsin, along with Coyote's Den out of Menominee. In addition to that, we also have Haas Inc., TNT Construction, Accurate Construction, Dick's Fresh Market, Liquid Nitro, Old World Meats, and Doan LTD along for the ride this year. Wanted to give them some big shout outs for helping us out through the 2025 racing season. Along with tonight's title sponsors for the night, Timber Inn Bar and Grill from Downsville, Wisconsin, owned and operated by John and Amy Stalter, Chad's sister and brother-in-law. Happy to have them along for the title sponsorship this evening, along with JK Concrete out of Menominee, Wisconsin, owned by Kevin and Terry Smeltzer, longtime friends and supporters of the track. And finally, T&K Fireworks. All three companies along as title sponsors for tonight. QualityFreightRate.com's round number 5 of the Storm Series here at Thunder Hill Speedway. 20 laps about to hit the track in our K&K Racing Micro Sprint class.
Yeah, it looks like we got them almost lined up. I think they're just going single, double file around the top, pack down the cushion a little bit. We got 20 laps here with this big field, so probably going to wear the track out a little bit more than the other classes.
We saw earlier on today that the low line was working pretty well for these micro sprints today. We'll see how that high line has optioned for going into the features here.
Yeah, that's always one thing to keep our eye on as the night goes on. You know, it gets cooler and dew comes out, and sometimes, even though if it looks slicker, moisture comes out from the track. So we'll see how this plays out.
Tightening it up through 3 and 4. Green flag is out, and away we go. Moen and Jensrud leading the pack through 1 and 2. Out front, early advantage though. Going to the C71 of Carter Jensrud, I believe that was. Moen settling for second, Davis, Willen, and Peters rounding out your top 5 as it currently stands. But the battle out front is raging on between Jensrud and Moen. Jensrud's able to get him through the corners. Moen's able to slingshot down, coming out onto the straights. But it's still Jensrud with the slight advantage. Henrik sliding down way low, trying to cut those 2 racers off, make room up front, but it's still Jensrud and Moen out front. That time around, it was Moen with the slight advantage on the front straightaway. Now we've got a side-by-side battle between Moen and Jensrud for first and second, Davis and Henriks for third and fourth.
Yeah, I mean, slide job is back and forth for the last couple laps as we got a couple tangled together here, but even for third place and fourth, they were battling side by side for multiple laps as well.
Yeah, I feel bad I keep saying the same thing for this class, but it's just held to be true. They have phenomenal racing action all throughout the season here. Nice slide jobs every lap there. I believe that every other corner we had a slight advantage to one of our different racers in the lead there. Moen would have him on the straights, Jensrud would have him in the corners, and Jensrud on the straight, Moen in the corner, and that battle for third and fourth raged on right behind them that entire time as well, with less than a second separating our top 4 competitors overall. So we've got some great racing action throughout the entirety of the field there. Looks like we're having trouble with one of our cars there in turn 4. Able to get them refired now, so now we're all good to go.
Yeah, definitely getting back to what you're saying about, strengths and weaknesses for them. 20 laps, it's just about adaptability over the feature. It's one thing that's so great about dirt tracking is the track wears away, and usually the best drivers that can adapt to it best will come out on top.
You can say that again. And we can see that these racers at the top right now doing all they can to power through. We're only 4 laps in to this 20-lap main event. So we're only a fifth of the way in. We've got quite a bit of racing action left to go. And the track will be making quite a few changes meantime.
Yeah, that's for sure, as we got one more send them around before they take green again. But I know the fans can't see it that are here in person, but looking at the timing last time by, Moen just edged out Jensrud by 0.02 of a second. You go back to third and fourth, there was only a 1/10 between them at the line, so it just shows you how close the battle was.
Tighten it up on the back stretch through 3 and 4. Green light's gonna go, and it's gonna be the 88 of Moen leading the charge through 1 and 2. Jensrud going down low, Davis taking the outside as we've got a whole bundle of people throughout the rear end of the field bumping and banging. It's still Moen with the advantage out front. That time around, Davis with the slight advantage in second. Jensrud pushed back to third. They're able to adjust this time around. Jensrud now up to that second place spot. Davis back to third as Moen is starting to slightly pull away from that battle for second, third on back. Now with almost a second gap in between those 2 racers. Jensrud and Davis duking it out for second and third respectively, with only 1/100th of a second gapping those 2. Davis with a slight advantage that time around. Jensrud able to take that corner as we see Davis all sorts of bobbling. He's able to save it though, but that drops him all the way back to 5th place. It's now Moen, Jensrud, Henriks, Peters, Davis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, it looks like he was in a great battle with Jensrud there for second, but just hooked the berm on the inside, got him hopping, bouncing back a couple spots, but now we got to restart. Maybe he can make it back up there. As Moen, like I said, kind of just got in a rhythm there out front, up to a second lead, but now that's erased.
Yeah, clear track ahead of him was exactly what he needed. And we'll see if he's able to get a solid jump on this restart. He had a really great one last time around. You know, his Delaware double file restart is definitely helping out his case. He's at least the lone racer out front, but it's all about that start at this point. And now
yeah, just real quick, looks like outside on the second row here, number 10 came from 8th all the way. So see if he can make up a couple more spots to take home the win tonight.
Henrik's putting on a great show out there. So it's Moen, Jensrud, Henriks, Davis, Peters. Or Peters-Davis, your top 5. Then it looks like it'll be Jiragi sitting in 6th. Then Mason Hale just to the outside.
Speaking of that Hendricks too, you're never going to lose sight of that car on the track with that bright orange paint scheme. I'm trying to jog my memory, but it feel like it reminds me of a sprint car from the 90s in the World of Outlaws. I don't know if it was Wolf or what the last name was, but I know I definitely have seen a livery like that before in the 410s.
Nice and easy to keep an eye on. Now it looks like we have to be up a spot. Now it seems to be Moen out front all alone. Jensrud Davis will be your first full row. Then Henriks Peters. As now Henriks takes his spot back on the outside of that first full row. And that, I believe, brings us to our correct restarting order. So this lap will tighten them up on the back straightaway. Before we get back to some green flag action here. 9 laps down, 11 left to go. As we make our way through turns 3 and 4. Green flag is out. Jensrud tucking down low with a great start there as Henriks having some issues bumping and banging. One going up and over. Looks like that's the 628 machine of Brian Link up on his side. Track crew very quick to make sure that he is okay, getting him back up on all 4 wheels there. Track crew gonna make sure that Brian Link is okay after that rough barrel roll. Second barrel roll of the night, I believe. Not quite sure what exactly happened there. Fresh off the restart, Henriks was quite off the pace. Let's take a look at this. Green flag comes out, and Henriks just comes to almost a near stop. Everyone else nowhere to go. The 26P of Peters getting into the mix. And Brian Link with nowhere to go. Bumps and bangs, gets sideways, goes up on 2 tires, and it's over from there.
Yeah, it looks like they're out of the car.
Up and out of the car.
Yeah, happy to see that. I guess that's just the announcer's curse, talking about Henriks. Looks like something broke or killed on the start, and he just tried to stay high, keep out of the way, but it's hard to see when you're coming down the front stretch on a green flag restart, and just unfortunate a couple other cars got tangled up in that.
Yeah, well, those are always some of the worst, where there's just nowhere else you can go. You're just kind of at the mercy of the track at that point. But glad to see that Link is back up and walking under his own power. We never want to see that happening with any of our racers, but we are at least happy to see him up, moving his car in the meantime. So we will take a moment here to get Link and Henriks' carts off the field. before we get back to our restart here? Well, we have a minute. We'll take a quick moment to go through the rest of our season with you. Tonight is round number 5 of the QualityFreightRate.com Storms series here at Thunder Speedway, where we had Alumni Night. And we have another theme night coming up for you guys in 2 weeks. Wednesday, August 27th, our final Wednesday night race of the year is going to be double points night. So we'll definitely be seeing some changes to the championship year of end points in 2 weeks from now, Wednesday, August 27th. After that, we'll move into our group of weekend races for the season. Friday, Saturday, September 5th and 6th, we'll be back for the Wisconsin Dirt Track State Championships, where we have a complete show each night. The Midgets will only be racing Saturday night, but we got Saturday night dashes. We've got qualifying for you, lots of great action. A couple weeks after that, Friday and Saturday, September 26th and 27th, we'll be back for the Harvest Hustle. Also 2 days of complete shows, Saturday night dashes, qualifying, and then we will round out our season Saturday, October 11th for the Bone Shaker Showdown. To end off the season. There we got Henrik's car off the track, down into the infield.
Yeah, and I do recall, it looks like, I think it's Scotty Neitzel, what that car reminds me of. A sharp-looking car with the orange and the yellow 10 on it. Too bad he had to end his night early there.
A nice catching color, easy to keep a watch out for. But a rough one to see pull into the infield. But we will be able to get our restarting lineup all ready to go here. Looks like the C71 of Jensrud stalled in turn number 4. Going to get a little helping push from one of our racers. He's back up and ready to go. So we'll get everyone re-lined up. The 88 of Moen will be out front, all alone in this Delaware double file restart. Row number 2, the first full row, is going to have the C71 of Carter Jensrud on the inside. The 37 of Landon Davis will be sitting on the outside. Landon Davis, your current points champion in this class, points leader, with a nice 18-point gap over the 26P of Jackson Peters. Row number 3, the second full row, will be the 46G of Jiragi. I believe that's the 28 of Mason Hale. We'll put another lap out there just to make sure we are all set and ready to go before getting back to some green flag action here. Now remember, even though we'll only have one winner at the end of this race, we do have a second money winner thanks to the luck of the draw race, or luck of the draw drawing at the end, some extra $200 cash from our title sponsors as the green flag flies. 3 wide coming out of turn number 2. It's Moen out front. Davis, Jensrud, Hale all in the mix as well. Jiragi's in there. The 99 of Supri's in there. Or Subert's in there. Moen, Davis, Jensrud, Hale, Subert, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as it sits. And Moen is pulling away from the rest of the crowd there. Half a second gap already. This time around the track, it's grown to a 3/4 second gap, and it is extending lap by lap, second by second, as Moen has that high line figured out. He's already almost a full straightaway ahead of second and third. It's Moen, Davis, Jensrud, Hale, Subert, still your top five. As Hale is trying to work on Jensrud.
Yeah, I was going to say, got a good battle there for third between Jensrud and Hale, and 99 Swaber working his way in there as well.
Looks like we're going to have some three-wide action through 3 and 4. 3 wide onto the front straightaway. Hale holding on to that podium spot. Jensrud battling back. Suber getting in on the mix as well with only 3 laps left to go. Out front, it's all the Caleb Moen show. Davis holding on to a solid second place. The who's who battle is for that third spot on the podium. Hale has it. Jensrud wants it. Stubert's trying to fight for it as well. Jiragi wants to get in on the mix as we come down to the white flag. 1 more lap to go for our racers. Onto the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. Your race winner is going to end up being the 88 of Caleb Moen. Davis going to finish second, but who's got third? Drag race to the line. Mason Subert gonna take over that third place spot. Jensrud gonna have to settle for fourth, and it'll be Jiragi rounding out your top 5. And wow, what a battle we had there at the end.
Yeah, congrats to Swaber there. He was the only one working the bottom earlier on and then got up in line behind the rest of them. And then just had an awesome move as Jensrud went to the bottom to block the slide job in the last corner and got the momentum the high side to slingshot him by for the podium finish.
And it goes exactly with what you were saying. You know, the track adjusts, it adapts as the race goes on, as the night goes on. All of our racers were stuck on that top end of the track the entirety of the race, with Subert being the only one willing to take the charge down at the bottom. It ended up working out for him perfectly. But as your race leader climbs out of his cart, takes off his helmet, give it up for feature race winner, the 88 of Caleb Moen! Caleb will take some time to celebrate in the JK Concrete victory lane here at Thunder Hill Speedway. As we will also conduct our luck of the draw drawing in victory lane as well.
How about a big smile there, Caleb? Come on, this is your buddy Jesse.
Caleb's celebratory lane. Now he's going to draw the winning number. Mullen will celebrate his time in the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane. And in the meantime, we'll give you your starting lineup for your Legends.Direct Legend Cars feature race. 8 cars for 20 laps. Starting lineup is going to look like this inside of row number 1. It's the 7K machine of Ramsey, Minnesota's Teddy Kashadi, side by side with the 49 of Aiden Erickson, racing out of Cumberland, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2, racing the 4S out of Osseo, Wisconsin, it's Chris Sleep. And to his right, the 94 of Levi Brewer, racing from Ridgeland, Wisconsin. Row number 3 out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, it's the 33 of Derek Crumrye and the 60 of Mark Brewer from Pierre, South Dakota. And in that 4th and final row, it's scheduled to be the 68 of Shadow Kitchener from Arkansas, Wisconsin, and the 67 of Josiah Kashadi out of Ramsey. And it looks like we do have I thought for a second there that I saw their colors, but it looks like we just have the 6 off Kitchener and Josiah Kashadi. Oh. There we have the 67 of Josiah Kashadi, but it looks like Kitchener is going to be a scratch after his double barrel roll that we had earlier on today. We'll tighten it up through 3 and 4. Green flag will fly. And it's Kashadi Erickson into 1 and 2. Sleep going to follow behind close in 3rd. Levi Brewer sitting in 4th just behind. But out front and pulling away, it's the 7K of Teddy Kashadi. Teddy Kashadi, Aiden Erickson, 1 and 2. A little bit of space, and then we have the 94 of Brewer, 4S asleep, and the 33 of Crumrye rounding out your top 5. Little side-by-side action there going on for that 3rd and 4th place spot. Chris Sleep down on the inside, trying to make the move on the 94 of Levi Brewer. Brewer's got it. Sleep going to slide high. Now we're back to single file formation as Brewer's trying to set his sights on Erickson in the 49. A little 49-94 back and forth. But out front, all alone, showing these racers how it's done, Teddy Kashadi. Now a 1.5-second gap between him and the 49 of Erickson, leading that 2-car battle for 2nd and 3rd over the 94 Levi Brewer. A little space before we get back to the 4S of Sleep and the 33 of Crumrye. Our Legends.Direct Legend cars also racing tonight for the luck of the draw. So after the race is completed, a number will be drawn between 1 and 8, and whatever number that is what place the finisher will get 200 big ones. Halfway through this main event, and Teddy Kashadi is slowly but surely reeling in the rear end of the field. So we'll see how some lap traffic may potentially move into this. 67 of Josiah Kashadi starting on the very back row, already making his way up to 4th, trying to set his sights on that battle for 2nd and 3rd, still raging hard between Erickson and Brewer. But out front, all alone, it's still the 7K of Teddy Kashadi. Teddy Kashadi now with a 2.3-second gap over that battle between Erickson and Brewer. Now about 2 car lengths in between that 2-car battle, but still our closest battle on the track. Brewer looks to the outside, seeing if he might be able to make a move there. Slingshot action going, gets close through 3 and 4. Erickson just with the nice hard charge there coming out of the corner, he's able to hold on. 2 laps left to go, and the battle is for 2nd as we have almost a 3-second gap between Kashadi and Erickson. Brewer and Erickson, however, only 0.2 seconds in between them. Brewer keeps looking low. White flag is out. One final time through 3 and 4. Teddy Kashadi is going to be your feature race winner, but who's got second down to the line? The 49 of Aiden Erickson going to hold on for a hard-fought second. 94 of Levi Brewer going to round out your podium. Then from the very back, it's the 67 of Josiah Kashadi and the 4S to Chris Sleep rounding out your top 5. but there can only be one out front. You can see him thumping his fists in the car, getting a little celebration there. But as he pulls into the T&K Fireworks victory lane here tonight, we're going to give it up for your first-time feature winner of the year, the 7K of Teddy Kashadi taking the win tonight.
Yeah, seeing his pit guy there open up the door, that's a cool touch. Seeing the suicide door on the old school Legend cars.
He's got his helmet off and he's climbing out once again. Teddy Kashad, your feature race winner. We'll let Teddy celebrate his time in victory lane. I believe I see Josiah Kachadi there as well, giving him a congratulations hug in Thunder Hills Speedway's victory lane. And as they take their time to celebrate, take some pictures of a well-earned win, we'll give you your starting lineup for the final feature race of the evening, our Gopher Midget Racing Series. 4 racers going to be duking it out for 20 laps of midget racing glory. On the pole, it's going to be the C71 out of River Falls, Wisconsin. You know him, you love him. It's Carter Jensrud. On the outside, to his right, the 55 from Nowlin, Minnesota. It's Ryan Bowers. Row number 2 to the inside, the 85 of Johnny Parsons III out of Owatonna, Minnesota. And rounding out your 4-car field, out of St. Peter, Minnesota, it's the 56 of Bill Johnson. Bill didn't have the heat race that he was looking for, but we saw him out there giving it a couple hot laps in between a couple of our races earlier on today. So it looks like he did get that car back up and running. This is a new car for him, so glad to see that things are potentially working out there. Excited to see what this feature race will end up looking like.
Yeah, just real quick, Zach, I did get word from Gunner with that micro draw for the extra money. It looks like that went to the number 6 position.
6th place in the micros, going to end up taking $200 extra in their pocket tonight. And it looks like that ended up going to Mason Hale, finished 6th in the micro class. So Mason Hale, $200 richer thanks to tonight's title sponsors, Timber Inn Bar and Grill, JK Concrete, and T&K Fireworks LLC. Thanking them for not only being along for the ride all season, but on as tonight's title sponsors, and also for throwing some cash in the pot for that luck of the draw drawing that we've had at the end of these last 3 races. Just going to make sure the track is all set and ready to go for our final feature race of the evening. One final reminder, we will be back here again in 2 weeks for our final Wednesday night race of the season. Double points night. Like I've been saying all night, we have some really close battles in the championship here, and next week we'll be throwing things for an even bigger loop. So it's definitely not going to be a race that you're going to want to miss. We hope to see you out here again 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you all for coming out. I believe we had some pretty close to record-breaking numbers out here today. We're happy to see everyone in the grandstand on this beautiful Wednesday night, and we're hoping to see you all come back 2 weeks from now. But if you're unable to make it, you have work, you're out of town, something's coming up, Remember, we are live streaming all of this year's events at Thunderhill Speedway for free on MBTVsports.com and the affiliated social media channels, MBTV Sports YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X pages. So feel free to follow those links 2 weeks from now if you're not able to make it out for the double points night, because that is for sure going to be a race you will not want to miss.
Yeah, just going back to what you said earlier there, Zach. I don't know about record breaking, but it definitely is a standout crowd here. The hill is packed, so that's great to see.
And on a Wednesday night of all nights, you know, we know it can be hard for some of our people to come out on Wednesday nights, but we're happy to see everyone in the grandstand enjoying a good weather night here in Menominee, Wisconsin.
Looks like we got the track prep crew coming off the track, so hopefully we can get the midgets out there. Looks like Chad figured they just needed a little bit of touch up on the bottom, get some traction down there. So hopefully we can have a bunch of slide jobs back and forth for these 4 cars for the final.
We had some pretty nice racing going on there during the heat race. I'm expecting nothing less during the mains, as here we pull everyone out. I see Bowers, I see Jensrud. And there we have all 4 cars now out onto the track. Bowers getting a quick bump start there. Jensrud following suit. He's all ready to go. There's the 56 machine of Bill Parsons. Parsons wasn't able to make the heat race. So we'll see if he's able to get things all ready to go here for the feature. He's all fired up and ready. And I believe I saw Parsons make his way around as well. So we'll give them a couple laps to warm their tires up. Make sure the racing surface is to their liking after that light track prep that we had. There we have everyone in their correct starting lineup. We're going to tighten it up on the back straight there through 3 and 4. We're going to give them another little lap here. Out of 4, green flag flies. And it's Jensrud and Bowers leading the charge through 1 and 2. Side-by-side battle for 1st and 2nd, side-by-side for 3rd and 4th. I believe we were flirting with 4 wide there through 3 and 4. All close action going on for sure. 3 wide, bumping and banging. It's Jensrud in the middle there. The 56 of Johnson looks low. Johnson up high, trying to make a pass for the lead. He ducks down low. 3 wide through 3 and 4. Parsons trying to get it on the mix as well. Slight advantage to Bowers that time around. Jensrud slides back up. Bowers down through the middle. We're swipping and swapping, moving all around here.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't four wide, you definitely got 4 lanes of racing out there. It looks like they're starting to get singled out a little bit, but wow, that was some great action for a couple laps.
We've been saying it all night, but just because there's only 4 racers in here doesn't mean we can't have some high-flying, great racing action. Jensrud now pulling away from the rest of the field. Almost a 0.63 second gap between him and the 55 of Bowers. Now growing to a 0.8 second gap, about a second and a half behind that in third. Parsons the third, trying to hold on to Parsons, or on to Johnson, see if we might have a little battle there raging between third and fourth here sometime soon.
Yeah, I think we got a little something going on with Jensrud's car. He's slowing out of the corners, and Bowers allowed to sneak by him. I think he's losing some power. Something's going on as we see him slowing down to the infield.
Definitely not how Jensrud wants to see his race go. As he officially pulls into the infield, we're down to 3, and it's Bowers out front now with a second gap over the 56 of Johnson. Johnson trying to make moves, pull up slightly, gains a little bit of ground, not too much, but he's holding on to second. Parsons a little space back, sitting in third in the 85. We saw it a couple laps in the making. Jensrud just off the pace, not quite able to power out of those corners there. Not quite sure what happened, but it's exactly what Bowers wanted to see, as he's now able to take over that lead spot and try to set his sights. Rory Bowers currently your championship leader in the Gopher Midget Racing Series class here. JP3 just 10 points behind in second.
Yeah, don't count out Johnson yet. We got 5 to go, and he is shrinking that lead, running the bottom.
They're looking pretty close to side by side through the corners there. He's got that low line. Bowers able to power out on the high line, do a little bit of a slingshot maneuver, but Johnson with the shorter racing surface, able to slowly but surely draw up. Only about 3 laps left, and he looks to be gaining about 100th, maybe 200ths of a second each lap. Will it be enough, though, to take over and battle for the lead?
Yeah, had a really good line coming out of 2 there, coming to the white flag. I don't know if you have enough, but at least it's making it interesting.
One final time through turns 3 and 4, and this is the only time for Johnson to make the move. It's a drag race to the line, and it's going to be the 55 of Ryan Bowers taking the win tonight in the Gopher Midget Racing Series class. After a hard-fought battle, first with Jensrud, then with Johnson, he's going to take the W. The 56 of Bill Johnson going to finish second. Johnny Parsons the third, rounding out your podium as your final feature race winner of the night. Will be pulling into the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane. This is his second win of the season here at Thunder Hill Speedway. For a well-deserved celebration, we'll see him hop out of his car, take off his gloves and helmet, and as he climbs on out, let's hear a huge round of applause for your final feature race winner of the evening, Ryan Bowers. We'll let Bowers celebrate his well-deserved win in victory lane. And as he takes his time there, gets some pictures taken, celebrates on behalf of everyone here at Thunder Hill Speedway, Chad and Co., Matt Bowl, and all of the team here at MBTV Sports. I want to give a big thanks to Jesse Glenz coming out tonight for Alumni Night, showing off his car. Joining me here in the news tower, my name is Zach Bailey. Thanking you all for coming out tonight. We're excited to see you guys back again 2 weeks from this evening, August 27th, for our final Wednesday night race of the season. QualityFreightRate.com Storm Series race number 6, double points night. Until then, thank you all for coming out tonight. We're excited to see you in 2 weeks. And just a reminder, racing is for the track only. Drive safe on your way home, ladies and gentlemen.
Freight is the backbone of the country. And as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bowl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate